Skies are fair this morning, 43 degrees. We had some light rain overnight, 5:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and a pleasant Monday morning. I'm Mike Scott. Here are the stories we're following. One person is wounded following a shooting on the Dan Ryan Expressway. All express lanes are blocked while police investigate. The victim was shot in the leg while riding in a vehicle near Marquette Road. 16-year-old boy is facing charges of making threats against Homewood Flossmoor High School. Police say the school officials became aware over the weekend of social media postings that displayed a gun and threatened violence at the school today. Investigators quickly identified the teen and determined the threats were not credible. No classes were canceled, but there will be an increased police presence at the school today. Chicago police are investigating a drive-by shooting that killed one teen and wounded another on Chicago's South Side. Police say a 16-year-old boy and a 19-year-old man were walking in an alley near 62nd and Maplewood when someone drove by and shot them. The boy died at the hospital while the man is in stable condition. No arrests have been made. Residents of Chicago and the suburbs gathered to remember victims of a mass shooting at a Pittsburgh synagogue. The crowd gathering last night for an interfaith vigil at the Federal Plaza in the Loop, honoring 11 killed inside the Pittsburgh synagogue.
As Christians and Jews and Muslims, it's time to come together. Religious
leaders from around Chicago spoke out against what they called the violence and hate evident in the killings. In other news this morning, authorities are confirming the remains found in a barrel last week in Lockport belonged to a Joliet woman who went missing earlier this month. Ashley Tucker disappeared after leaving a party at her father's house October 13th. Peter Zabala's being questioned in her disappearance. He's considered, according to police, a person of interest. No one is hurt after a hospital was struck by gunfire on Chicago's northwest side. Police say officers were called out early yesterday to Community First Medical Center on Addison after several bullets hit the east side of that building. A dog is dead, a woman in stable condition after they were attacked by another dog at a PetSmart store on Chicago's southwest side. Company says the attack happened in the Archer Heights neighborhood yesterday morning when a Mastiff broke free of its kennel at the pet store. The woman hospitalized with bites to her arm and right middle finger. Police believe the incident appears to be an accident. State public health officials are confirming a new cluster of Legionnaire's disease in Chicago and another in nearby Lake and McHenry counties. The Department of Public Health saying it's investigating the possible sources of the Legionnaire's disease, but those two clusters are not connected. The department says the Chicago cluster involves two residents of the Warren Barr South Loop nursing home. President Trump said he toned down his rhetoric at a rally in Murfreesboro over the weekend in light of the deadly mass shooting at a synagogue in Pittsburgh.
Our nation and the world are shocked and stunned by the grief. This was an anti-Semitic act. You wouldn't think this would be possible in this day and age, but we just don't seem to learn from the past.
The president campaigning for popular Republican candidates in front of a crowd of about 8,000 crammed into a hangar at Southern Illinois Airport near Carbondale. A University of Illinois football player is suspended indefinitely this morning after an arrest for domestic violence. University police arrested Larry Oladipo Sunday morning after a witness called police and said he was forcing a screaming woman into a car at a campus parking lot. Police say they found the woman with a small cut on her lip and took the Huntley resident into custody. He's due in court this morning. Chicago aldermen are set to vote this week on a plan to modernize Union Station. The proposal includes a 50-story office building and a park built on Amtrak land south of the station. Mitch Trubisky threw for 220 yards and 2 scores. Bears beat the Jets 24-10 at Soldier Field. Jordan Howard ran for 81 yards and a score. Bears back in first place in the NFC North, but head coach Matt Nagy says he's a lot more worried about the injury to offensive lineman Kyle Long.
He's been unbelievable in the team meetings. He's been unbelievable as a leader for that offensive line. And so I'm very happy with how he's been playing, and we just keep our fingers crossed that everything's okay.
The Bears on the road at Buffalo this Sunday. Connor McDavid, he's a pretty good hockey player. You might want to check him out. 53 seconds into overtime. Oilers over the Blackhawks 2-1 at the UC. Fire wrap up the 2018 season with a scoreless draw at home against D.C. United. Red Sox World Series champions after a 5-1 win over the Dodgers in Game 5 in L.A. Red Sox first baseman Steve Pearce says being named World Series MVP is like a dream.
Sure is. It sure is. This has been a lifelong journey, and to be here right now is a dream come true.
It might be. The dude is knocked around with 7 teams in 13 years in the bigs, and at age 35, he gives an awful lot of hope to the hustlers, doers, grinders, and hard workers who make things happen but never get their due. Congratulations, Steve Pearce. Bulls host the 2-time defending NBA champion Golden State Warriors later on tonight. The News is a service of the Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA is a national nonprofit offering more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports. Visit PCADevZone.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The world is a dangerous place. Often, it's a very ugly place, and you come here to try to help make sense of it all. We give you the latest news, help you understand what it means and why it's important. But there are bigger questions you need answered about life and death, faith and hope. And that's where our sister station, AM 1160, Hope for Your Life, comes in. When you're looking for answers to life's biggest questions, give them a listen at AM 1160 or online at 1160hope.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, we're all the same when it comes to property taxes.
We're not going to be living in Illinois anymore, and it's due to the property taxes.
Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org. You stay. The politicians go. Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content.
I used to post to job boards only to be overwhelmed with resumes,
which made it easy to miss a great candidate.
That old process was
not smart. Then I went to ZipRecruiter.
Its technology finds the right people
and actively invites them to apply.
So I get qualified candidates fast, smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try it now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with over 1,000 reviews.
Welcome to Jimmy John's.
Hi, your new 9-grain wheat sub is so good. How do you make it?
With the highest quality ingredients and love. I mean, we definitely don't sing at lullabies when it's baking. Lullabies are what parents sing to babies.
Right.
And we don't use a baby carrier to carry the warm, fresh 9-grain wheat subs to the cooling racks. I mean, they're not babies. They're for making delicious sandwiches.
Okay, I'll take a turkey tom.
Oh, don't name them. It makes it harder.
Try our new 9-grain wheat sub, Jimmy John's. Wheat yeah, freak yeah.
The school year started just a short time ago, but it's not too late for your son or daughter to get the outstanding education and preparation for life that St. John's Northwestern Military Academy offers with their ongoing enrollment program. For years, St. John's Northwestern Military Academy has served young men and is now an excellent co-ed environment. Not a school for troubled kids, but one that will prepare young men and women for college by focusing on rigorous academics and leadership with a safe, secure, and structured environment free from distractions that's conducive to successful learning. St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in the beautiful Lake Country region of southeast Wisconsin inspires personal growth through a commitment to excellence in academics, spiritual, and character development, athletics, and their military traditions. And there's still time to enroll your son or daughter for this school year. Call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET or visit their website sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
If you listen to the station, you're probably up on the latest political news and know there's a midterm election soon. What you might not know is midterm elections tend to have a profound impact on the stock market and your investments. You can learn about it at TrumpMidterm.com. I'm Joe Lopresti, founder of the Investor Education Institute. We just completed a thorough study on midterm election years and found the stock market has remarkably consistent tendencies in these years. We summed up our findings in a new report you can get for no cost at TrumpMidterm.com. 2018 is fitting the mold of midterm election patterns. This report gave me tremendous insight and knowledge about the midterm's effect on stocks and can help you too. Go to TrumpMidterm.com and get a roadmap to help navigate your investments through the election and well into 2019. That's TrumpMidterm.com for your no-cost report. Learn about the midterm's effect on stocks at TrumpMidterm.com.
For just $5 a day, you can sponsor a child through Compassion International. It's pocket change to you. It's life-changing for a child in need. Be part of the change. Become a sponsor now at Compassion.com/radio. That's Compassion.com/radio.
512 on AM 560. Let's get an update on the roads. Already trouble on the Ryan this morning. The Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
The inbound Ryan Expressway is closed from 87th to past Marquette to 67th after a shooting. Entrance ramp from 87th, at least 71st are closed as well in that area. Traffic's being detoured off the inbound Ryan at 87th Street. You have heavy traffic on the Ryan approaching that area. Traffic starting to get a bit more congested. The inbound side of the Bishop Ford Freeway as well. No problems to report on the Edens or the Kennedy right now. Reversible lanes are open on the inbound side. The Eisenhower is looking good. Overnight work at Wacker is clearing. Stevenson is fine. No delays to report on the area tollways. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, sunny. High 55 today, partly cloudy, 43 overnight. A rainy day ahead tomorrow, maybe a thunderstorm in spots, especially in the morning. High near 58. Currently 43 O'Hare, 45 along Chicago's Great Lakefront. And your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, it's been an eventful and disturbing 72 hours since we were last on the air after our show on Friday. Of course, the federal authorities made an arrest in the case of the bombs that were sent to prominent Democrats and CNN and Bobby De Niro's restaurant and Tribeca. And then on Sunday, something even worse. You had 11 people gunned down at a synagogue, Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, by a anti-Semitic lunatic who also, to the credit of local police, was taken into custody. And just to give you a sense of it, if you haven't followed the details, while in custody and receiving medical treatment, the shooter made statements to a SWAT operator that he wanted all Jews to die and also that they, Jews, were committing genocide to his people. So one of the things that's interesting about the synagogue shooting, why don't we start there, is and we've talked about it on the show, that targeting of Jews because they are Jews is underreported. We had a likely case of that recently here in Rogers Park with two Jewish men who were randomly executed by a guy who's still at large.
Oh, that's right. The African-American man who's got a funny, duck walk that they're still looking for.
I mean, we
Those
don't...
both men were Jewish, right?
We don't know that was the motive at this point, but the two murders were very similar, and there's no connection, at least that police have revealed to the public. So there's certainly that possibility. But the statistics from the FBI, quote-unquote hate crime rates per 100,000 population by selected ethnic and religious groups directed towards blacks. Again, crimes committed targeting of people because of their ethnicity, religion. Blacks, 4 per every 100,000. Muslims, 7.9 per every 100,000. Jews, 12.1 per every 100,000. So almost twice as many incidents targeting Jews as Muslims, 3 times as many Jews versus blacks. And among some of the reporting over the weekend, you had the ADL report that there have been nearly 2,000 anti-Semitic incidents this year. That's a 57% increase from last year. So just in terms of, looking at people targeted for who they are and what they believe, it's interesting, 2 things. 1, how underreported this is with respect to Jewish people. And 2, how much tolerance there is for anti-Semitism in our political discourse. Would the D.C. press corps, and particularly the Chicago press corps, like to comment on Louis Farrakhan?
Yeah, because he's been spewing anti-Semitic remarks for as long as I can remember.
That's because
he's never had anything positive to say about the Jewish community.
And
he wants them gone.
And they confer respect on him when they cover him, and then they reference him, address him as Minister Farrakhan when they do. How about Linda Sarsour, the organizer of the much celebrated women's PHAT marches? Have you heard what she has to say about Israel?
What does she say?
She is a rabid anti-Semite as well, celebrated. So, I mean, just in terms of the conversation we've been having, and by the way, of course, the coverage of this includes implications that Trump has something to do with what happened at the synagogue, much less the bombs.
Do the people, the stupid idiots who make those comments, know that his daughter is Jewish? His son-in-law, Jared Kushner, is Jewish. They respect the Sabbath. I mean, these people who were killed, brutally murdered, they described it as a bloodbath, were there at a naming ceremony. Okay, and they were all devout to the synagogue. They came every Saturday. A 97-year-old woman died. And an 80-year-old couple who'd been married for 40-plus years, 2 brothers were killed. It was just awful.
This is unbelievable. People have to stop the hateness.
You don't get a more innocent, harmless individual who doesn't have an ill bone in his body.
Then he was describing his uncle who was killed.
And the coverage of this, the front page of the Washington Post, all Trump all the time in connection to the shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue, in connection to the bombs. Bomb suspect found an inspiration in Trump. Trump allies set the tone for the violence they denounce, critics say. Front page of the Amazon Post over the weekend, with the other headlines about the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting, and of course the man in custody.
Wanted him to cancel his appearance in Murfreesboro, Illinois, and he didn't. Instead, he used the time to talk about what happened.
But as you know, earlier today there was a horrific shooting targeting and killing Jewish Americans at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The shooter is in custody, and federal authorities have been dispatched to support state and local police and conduct a full and thorough federal investigation. This wicked act of mass murder is pure evil, hard to believe, and frankly, something that is unimaginable. Our nation and the world are shocked and stunned by the grief. This was an anti-Semitic act. You wouldn't think this would be possible in this day and age, but we just don't seem to learn from the past.
Mayor Bill Peduto was on Meet the Press. He's the mayor of Pittsburgh. We've had him on the show before. Yeah. He said this to Chuck Todd about his conversation with Trump.
It was cordial. We basically talked about the horrific tragedy. I was able to share with him the details of just how bad it had been, and he basically said that any resources that would be necessary would be given. And right now there are federal officials from the FBI coming from all parts of this country to help Pittsburgh.
But that wasn't the real reason he was on, to relay that part of the conversation. The real reason he was on was to politicize what happened, of course, to make the call for gun control
I belong to an organization, a bipartisan organization called Mayors Against Illegal Guns. I don't think that the answer to this problem is solved by having our synagogues, mosques, and churches filled with armed guards, or our schools filled with armed guards. I think we're dealing with an irrational person who acted irrationally, and trying to create laws around that is not the way that we should govern. We should try to stop irrational behavior from happening at the forefront and not try to create laws around irrational behavior to continue.
I don't even know what that means, honestly. I have no idea what that means. We're not to legislate around irrational behavior. We're to try and prevent irrational behavior. Well, how precisely do you expect to do that? You don't prevent irrational behavior by banning guns. The use of a gun is an instrument in furtherance of irrational behavior in the case of the synagogue. What the hell are these people talking about? And this goes to the larger issue of politicizing all of this stuff. Everything, because we're so hyper-political, because politics has seeped into every corner of our life, everything is viewed through a political prism. And so it was interesting to hear, this may be a pro forma statement, but at least it was a statement that was made both by the chairman of the NRCC as well as the chairman of the DCCC, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. He's Congressman Ben Ray Lujan from New Mexico, and he had. Wait, what do we have, Lujan?
Don't see.
I think he had this to say.
Look, no one should be politicizing what happened this week, number one. The senseless acts of violence that we see in Pittsburgh, the number of people that were killed while they were at a place of worship is a clear reason why Congress must act to keep people safe, number one. And then also with the number of people who were threatened as a result of those bombs that were being mailed across America. But look, we should come together as a country. This should not be a political response, but rather a response and how we can further bring us together.
Well, it's a nice sentiment, but that's not what's happening.
This is The Morning Show. More Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
What do you hear? Most people just hear an engine. We hear a 6.2-liter Hemi V8 with a supercharger that accelerates so fast, it'll suck the air out of your lungs and knock you back in your seat like you're an astronaut in a rocket ship hurtling through the stratosphere. But then again, we're not most people. We're the Brotherhood of Muscle. Dodge. Domestic, not domesticated. Dodge is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
This is a court-ordered notice. Current and former Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury owners or lessees can receive payments and other benefits from a legal settlement related to allegedly defective Takata airbags in their vehicles. To see if your vehicle is included and to file a claim, go to autoairbagsettlement.com or call 1-888-735-5596. That's autoairbagsettlement.com or 1-888-735-5596.
Chicago homeowners, there's never been a better time to permanently fix your low water pressure, rusty water, and pipe leaks by repiping your home today. Repipe Specialist has been serving Chicago for many years, collectively repiping over 35,000 homes in their 25 years in business. They've built a reputation on offering the most efficient repipe process for seamless installation and customer convenience, repiping an entire home in just 1 to 2 days, patching your walls, and providing a lifetime guarantee. Repipe Specialist only uses the best repiping materials with USA Grade L copper or high-quality PEX pipes. For a limited time, take advantage of their most affordable offer. Right now, on approved credit, prices start as low as $99 per month. That's right, a quality home repipe, wall patching, a lifetime guarantee, and prices starting at just $99 per month. They'll provide a free in-home estimate explaining their process tailored for your home. So, call Repipe Specialist today for your free in-home estimate at 800-216-0130. That's 800-216-0130. 800-216-0130. Here's another Turnkey IT happy client.
Hi, this is Joe from Packaging Personified. We're a manufacturer of flexible packaging located in Carroll Stream, Illinois, and also just north of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Packaging Personified manufactures flexible packaging for the food industry and multiple other industries. We happen to be a 24-hour operation running 7 days a week, so we rely on our IT to be 100% solid. We were having a challenging time trying to get our infrastructure to be reliable. This is a problem we've had for some time, and we had gone to other providers and did not have the success we were hoping for. And that's when we found Turnkey IT. We're still in the process of expanding our network to support additional changes that we're making as we grow the business. And with Turnkey IT on our side, we can focus on our business, which is making packaging.
Your business can have great success too, with a full-time IT staff starting at $7.95 a month from Turnkey IT.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, Steelers, Pittsburgh Steelers, you see what they did?
Oh, it was great. They changed their yellow star to the Star of David.
Yeah, the yellow, with the 3 stars on the Steelers helmet represent.
You know, because you're a huge Steeler fan.
Well, they're a class organization, as they demonstrated this week, this weekend. Stronger than hate, as you said. The yellow star, Star of David, the yellow star representing coal.
Okay.
The red star representing iron ore.
Iron ore?
I was going to say that.
The blue star representing, give you one more chance. Don't read Mike Scott's lips. What is the blue star?
I mean, I don't know.
Steel scrap.
How do you know that?
Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And if you didn't know, if you claim you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan and you didn't know that, then you're not much of a fan.
What Illinois governor is a part owner of Pittsburgh Steelers?
Former Illinois Governor Bruce Runner.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's still the governor.
A couple more months. Bruno in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I don't believe anything that I hear or see on the news anymore, and it seems awfully convenient that we've had these shootings and the bombing thing just a week and a half or so before the election. Sometimes, I hate to sound like a conspiracist, but I'm starting to become that way. I just wonder if any of these are false flag events.
Well,
that's all I have to say.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Bruno. I go back again. This is a no conspiracy zone, this show, and I go back again to how unhelpful that is, the false flag and just the wild speculation, the sort of implying culpability where there's no evidence to support it. That's what the left does. That's not what we're going to do here.
And this gunman, when he went into the synagogue, he shouted, "All Jews must die." He's crazy. His social media postings have been anti-Semitic for years. He's just, one of those, if you see something, say something. And I just wish we had social media police that they could go through people's profiles to try and stop this crazy guy.
No, you don't wish we had social media police. No, you don't.
I do in this guy's case.
Right. So how does that work?
Just if you're saying erratic, crazy things, because you are of sound mind. You would never say on social media what he is saying.
Well, that's true because I'm not anti-Semite.
Right,
or bigot,
exactly.
But right. So social media police, though. Let's think this through. Yes, obviously, if you have somebody making threats online, you should notify somebody if you see that. Right. This crazy, we'll see if he's crazy. Maybe he's just consumed with hate. He's just a ignorant hate monger. He's evil. That's a possibility, too. We always have to sort of reset the table with these things and also make sure our response is proportional to the event. And we've thought through all the implications of what we want to do. This is kind of like something bad happens, ban the instrumentality. Something bad happens, eliminate everybody's right of free expression. Let's, keep our wits about us. Coming up at 5:38, speaking of the deranged, the disturbed, rage, we'll talk about the suspect in the bombing case that was arrested on Friday.
But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
43 degrees this morning, fair skies. And the accused synagogue shooter is expected to face a judge today. U.S. Attorney Scott Brady saying during a press conference that Robert Bowers faces 29 charges from a mass shooting at a Pittsburgh synagogue that killed 11.
Bowers was armed with multiple weapons. He had 3 Glock 357 handguns and an AR-15 assault rifle.
4 officers of local police departments were also hurt, 3 of which were allegedly shot by Bowers. Mail bombing suspect Cesar Sayoc will appear in a Miami, Florida federal court hearing today. Sayoc is accused of sending pipe bombs to several high-profile individuals who've been criticized by President Donald Trump. Charges filed against Sayoc include threats against former presidents and the illegal mailing of explosives and more. Several thousand Central American migrants plan to resume their trek through southern Mexico before dawn today, while authorities in that country and in Guatemala are trying to sort out the killing of a migrant at a border crossing. Mexico's Interior Secretary Alfonso Prida this morning saying Mexican federal police and immigration agents were assaulted with rocks, glass bottles, and fireworks when the caravan broke through a gate on the Mexican side of their international border. New Jersey's health officials say a 9th child has now died from a virus running through a pediatric rehabilitation center there. Reward for helping to bring a missing Wisconsin teen home is doubling. 13-year-old Jamie Kloss has been missing for almost 2 weeks, and police believe she could be in danger. San Francisco is letting people who are not U.S. citizens vote next month in a local school board election. It includes non-citizens of the U.S. legally and illegally here. 40 have registered for that vote so far. Here in Chicago, 1 person is wounded following a shooting on the Dan Ryan Expressway. All express lanes are blocked while police investigate. We'll get an update from Jim Talamonte in a moment. This morning, there will be school at Homewood Flossmoor High in the south suburbs after a 16-year-old boy was arrested and faces charges of making threats against the school. There will be an increased police presence today. Bears beat the Jets 24-10 at Soldier Field. Oilers over the Blackhawks in overtime 2-1. Fire wrap up the 2018 season with a scoreless draw at home against D.C. United. Red Sox World Series champs after a 5-1 win over the Dodgers in L.A. The news service of Geico Chicagoland. Hey, Chicago, Geico has even more ways to help you save money. Kevin, your local Geico agent, ready to deliver personal service you need with the savings you love. Stop by his local office on Cicero Avenue or call 773-582-8888 for Kevin, your local Geico agent. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher explains Trump keeps winning despite the obstacles.
NBC Wall Street Journal released a poll. 47% of American voters approve of the job President Trump is doing. This is his highest approval rating yet, despite everything that is thrown at him, despite the entire universe, it feels, trying to stop him. Let it sink in.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Makers and doers, have you heard of the Technology and Manufacturing Association? TMA represents nearly 1,000 manufacturers and over 30,000 manufacturing employees in the Chicagoland region. Headquartered in Schaumburg, TMA is a comprehensive resource for Midwest manufacturers looking to improve operations, strengthen their workforce, and grow their business. We strengthen our members by providing business support services, events, networking opportunities, and government advocacy. TMA is also a leader in training and education, helping our manufacturers develop the talent they need to grow and thrive. At our Schaumburg Training Center, our industry-leading instructors are providing hands-on training to prepare the next generation of makers. The TMA Education Foundation has donated over $1.5 million to area schools, providing young people with exposure to today's high-tech and high-paying manufacturing jobs. As a leading voice in an evolving industry, TMA cultivates and strengthens our members. Consider joining our member-driven association as we support each other. Learn more at tmaillinois.org.
If you're like most people and you see 2 gas stations and one sells gas for a little bit less, you go to that one. It just makes sense. Every little bit helps. But here's what's weird, though. Sometimes we save a few pennies here and there and ignore opportunities to save huge money, life-changing money. If you switch to Medi-Share for your health care, it could be massive savings for you. The typical savings for a family is $500 a month. Think what you could do with that over time. Just doing the math, that's $6,000 a year. That is significant. And yes, people love it, and they love it because it works. It's believers who share each other's healthcare costs. More than 400,000 people are now members of Medi-Share, and it's growing like crazy. Find out how much you could save and why Medi-Share is so popular. Go to Medishare.com or call 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11. Medishare.com or 855-BIBLE-11.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's Megan Crane. A weekly conversation about top political issues ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Available on Apple Podcasts.
5:37, and we're following breaking news here in the newsroom. A search and rescue agency says he's not expecting survivors from that Lion airplane that crashed into the seas off Jakarta, Indonesia, with 189 people on board. The plane that crashed had been cleared by air traffic controllers to return to Jakarta's airport following a request from its pilot about 2 to 3 minutes after takeoff. Again, 189 on board, and right now, from that Lion airplane, no survivors are expected. Let's get an update on the roads here in Chicago this morning. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
The inbound Ryan Expressway is closed from 87th to 71st. An ongoing shooting investigation. Traffic is forced off the roadway at 87th. Cannot re-enter until 71st Street. And this has traffic backed up. Inbound Bishop Ford Freeway. Delays start around Cottage Grove. It's jammed from there up to 87th. And on the inbound side of I-57, traffic's at a standstill from Holstead up to 87th on the inbound ride. Entrance ramps again are closed from 87th to 71st. Edens is fine. The Kennedy, heavy outbound Ohio to Ogden with a crash in the left lane. Looking at about a 3 or 4 minute delay. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, sunny and 55 today. Partly cloudy, 43 overnight, 43 right now. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, an arrest on Friday made in the case of the man who sent, as now we know, or we have reason to believe,
sent,
a man who sent all those bombs, none of which could detonate, but that's, of course, sort of secondary to prominent Democrats as well as media actors, critics of Trump. And so, of course, the press corps has been promulgating this tag of MAGA bomber.
Oh, that's what they've...
MAGA bomber to hold Trump, to insinuate a liability on President Trump's behalf.
Well, this former cash-strapped stripper who lived in his van was taken down at an auto parts store, and they got his prints because his DNA was already in the system because he had some grand theft, auto, possession of crack. 2002 made a bomb threat against the utility company because they were going to shut off the electricity to his home.
He wasn't yelling or screaming or flailing. He was in handcuffs, and he calmly was escorted to the vehicle. Saw him get in with no problem. And he just had that look of, okay, it's over.
Yeah, 25 years of run-ins with the law, odd jobs, estrangement from family. As you mentioned, he made a bomb threat nearly 2 decades ago against the local power company over his bill. So his problems sort of predate President Trump by a good spell. This sort of tamped down in terms of the narrative the D.C. press corps is telling about him. Of course, they're focused more on stickers on his van than the actual composition of this person.
And that's what I had to tell my lefty friends yesterday. Guys, he had a bizarre, violent past long before President Trump came into the political scene.
I mean, he also, while he considered he was a registered Republican, he also considers himself a member of Seminole Nation, although Seminole Nation says they have no record of him.
Because he dated a Seminole Native American Indian, and so after that, he thought that he was part of the tribe, but he's not part of the tribe.
Well, actually, per the standards of the day of the left, if he feels like he's part of the tribe, then he is part of the tribe. But in terms of what is actually true versus what you believe to be true, there is a chasm with respect to Mr. Sayak, as there is with certain Democrat politicians from Massachusetts. But that's also a secondary issue, but it's worth reporting. There's no question. The interesting aspect of this is the coverage and the attempt to infuse this into the last week of the campaign prior to the midterm elections. This is not me doing it. This is me reporting on the left doing it. Let me give you an example. Jonathan Chait at the New Yorker. Trump's party is the petri dish for diseased minds that grew, the name of the bomber. It's of course true that the overwhelming majority of Republicans are not violent. It's likewise true that nothing about conservative ideology or its program requires violent action. Nonetheless, the relationship between the two parties and violence is not symmetrical, and the fact that alleged bomber, name, had a strong identification with Trump and his partisan message is not a coincidence. The Republican Party encompasses an extremist fringe that nurtures violence in a way that the Democratic Party does not. Let me repeat that. The Republican Party encompasses an extremist fringe that nurtures violence in a way the Democratic Party does not. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. How do you react to characterizations, and Jonathan Chait is hardly the only one making them, in the D.C. press corps to conservatism, to the Republican Party, to Trump voters? Chait went on to write, the left certainly has illiberal, paranoid modes of thought. The difference is that the left's version, or the left-wing version, resides outside the boundaries of the two-party politics because the Democratic Party is fundamentally liberal, not radical. The Republican Party, on the other hand, has followed a course that has made its rhetoric amenable to extremism. Republican radicalism enabled the rise of a conspiratorial authoritarian president, said so matter-of-factly, and that president has expanded the bounds of the party's following farther out to the fringe. It's getting harder and harder to distinguish the normal elements of conservatism from the kook parts. That some of those kooks would resort to violence is not an accident, but a statistical likelihood. Trump's party is a petri dish for diseased minds. Trump's party is a petri dish for diseased minds, and the Florida bomber is just a statistical inevitability. That is the argument made by one of the leading intellects of the left, Jonathan Chait.
And another argument being made by the alleged pipe bombers, former attorney Ronald Lowry, who's also now representing the guy's mom and stepsister. He says, are you ready for this? Excuse me. He did this because the man has daddy issues, and he's searching for daddy, and he found daddy in President Trump.
In his childhood, I think the initial thing that occurred is his father abandoned him. His father was Filipino, went back to the Philippines, had no more contact with him, and I think at some early age he began to fantasize that he had a background, that he was a Seminole Indian, a Native American, and he wanted an identity. He wanted a father figure, and he finally apparently found the father figure in 2016.
And where did he find that father figure?
Sadly, he found it in Donald Trump.
And you think his political views are in large part the reason that he carried out these actions?
I don't think there's any doubt that that occurred.
I mean, daddy issue. The man is 56 years old. Okay. And to equate that with this is why he did it, because he has daddy issues and he found daddy in Trump? Please.
Yeah, lawyers playing the role of psychoanalysts, you always be careful. But that's not the only thing Lowry contended. He also said that that this was in part to get back at his mom, because his mom had kicked him out of the house where he had occasionally stayed back in 2015. He said that when that happened, the alleged bomber told his mom, "I hate you. I don't want anything more to do with you," threw a tantrum like a teenager
right.
rather than a 50-year-old man. He said Lowy, what's the guy's name? Lowy?
Lowry.
Yeah,
Lowy.
Lowy. The lawyer said his estrangement from his family was instrumental in shaping him into the man who he became. There's also, in terms of all of the variables here, there's also, again, 25 years of making threats, being on steroids.
Selling steroids. I mean, he was a former stripper, Dan. He had to keep it tight.
But the steroid piece of it, in terms of artificial rage. This lawyer said he was isolated from his family, hated his mother for being a Democrat, and also he said he heard a voice calling his name, saying there's a war happening, that the Democrats are the enemy, that the media is the enemy, and that you are my soldiers.
Oh boy.
So, unpack all of that and then try and wrap this back up in this nicely packaged, this is all about the Republican Party under Trump being a petri dish for diseased minds, as Jonathan Chait argued.
He did a few weeks ago send a threatening, a threatening email to Rochelle Ritchie. Are you familiar with her?
We live in a society where we say, if you see something, say something. And I saw something and I said something and nothing was done.
She's a Democratic political analyst. And so she alerted authorities and nothing happened.
And?
Well, I'm just saying he's a bizarre, crazy creature living out of his van, and people are using the fact that he had CNN stickers and pro-Trump stickers on his van to say that President Trump's rhetoric caused this.
Even these threats that are made on social media or letters sent, law enforcement is limited. Have you heard of any arrests made in the cases of Susan Collins or Blasey Ford or the Kavanaugh family? I haven't. Mm-mm. And we know from their own disclosures that they were all subject to death threats. There's only so many leads, so many threats, and so many instances that law enforcement can track down at the same time. So, I saw something, I said something, and nothing happened. Pull the reins a little bit. And by the way, this guy's conduct was uneven, as should not come as any surprise. You've got people who interacted with regularly who say very different things about him. So this, the 2020 vision after the fact, everybody should have known this was some kind of inevitability with this guy.
Well, his current boss said she had no idea he was even political. He turned tables at a local strip club and bounced on Thursday nights. And she said, I had no idea if he was Republican or Democrat, never mentioned it.
Right. Junior Herrera, who's an auto mechanic who works at the AutoZone shop where the bomber frequented, said that he was known to sleep outside overnight in his vehicle. Quote, he never spoke about anything political. He was always talking about car parts, but he wouldn't let you look inside the van, not even a peek. I helped him change the oil once. It was just, hey, I need this done, and open the hood. But that was this guy's interaction with him. So it's just you can see somebody is different, but it's a big jump to say, oh yeah, he's different. He's living out of his van. He's a Trump supporter. Therefore, it's obvious that he's going to at some point be sending pipe bombs to Democrats. I mean, come on.
I know on Friday we had Brett Baer on the show, and he said that his sources were telling him that these were hoax devices that they couldn't detonate. But that's not what Christopher Wray said.
These are not hoax devices. They did contain energetic material, which, if subjected to the right combination of heat or shock or friction, could be dangerous.
Yeah, that's sort of what Brett Baer said, actually. In the right circumstances, these bombs could have exploded if you put them in a pressure cooker. Yeah, okay, that's not exactly the same thing as sending a bomb that upon opening it was going to explode. That's the difference. So yes, I mean we're not minimizing what he did, but I mean
to Trump, to get the charges against him.
He's going away for the rest of his life as well.
What's going to happen to his van?
Joe in Hoffman Estates.
Hey, good morning, guys. The sad thing is that if this crazy guy had anti-Trump stuff all over his van, it would have been Trump's fault, because he would have said that the media would be saying that Trump drove him to this. So no matter what happens,
it's going to be Trump's
fault in the media.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Joe.
And he did attend a number of Trump rallies and had signs that said CNN stinks, but he didn't say stinks behind it, and T-shirts that say CNN stinks. So they're playing that up as this is why he did it. He's a disciple of Trump.
Here's what Trump had to say about the media in Murfreesboro.
The media's constant unfair coverage, deep hostility, and negative attacks, you know that, only serve to drive people apart and to undermine healthy debate. For example, we have seen an effort by the media in recent hours to use the sinister actions of one individual to score political points against me and the Republican Party. Yet when a Bernie Sanders supporter tried to murder congressional Republicans and severely wounded a great man named Steve Scalise and others, we did not use that heinous attempt at mass murder for political gain, because that would have been wrong. It would have been the wrong thing to do.
John in Portage Park.
Hi. First, I'm moving to Kentucky. I'm finally out of here.
Yeah.
Second, I'd like to point out that
sorry to lose you.
That the guy that shot up that baseball game was living in his van, and maybe there's just a thing that people that live in their vans are pretty unstable, and maybe that they do weird things.
Middle-aged white males living in vans should be under surveillance.
Thanks, John.
Because he's right. That guy was living in his van. And not down by the river, down by the ballpark.
Bill on the northwest side.
Hi, good morning, Dan and Amy. Regarding the person who said that Republicans are responsible for violence, but Democrats are not, it's funny that on the heels of Maxine Waters and Eric Holder and Hillary Clinton calling for public incivility, and on the heels of Hillary even saying that we're going to continue to be uncivil until we get our power back, then we'll be civil again. People tend to forget, I think, the fact that a Democratic congresswoman from Missouri, shortly after President Trump was inaugurated, publicly called for Trump's assassination.
State legislature.
His assassination. And she kept her job.
Yeah.
And yet none of that constitutes violence in the eyes of the guy who said Democrats are peaceful and Republicans are not.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, I was a state legislator there, but that's right.
She still has her job, though, too, doesn't she? Yeah.
What, do you think she's going to resign? Tom in Deer Park.
Oh, hi, good morning. The reason for my call is my comments do not have anything to do with this deranged guy that's been deranged for a long time, nor Jonathan Chait, but my comments are in regard to all the media personalities on the right, from the President of the United States to his son to Donald Flynn Jr., and the rest I'll just remain silent about, that said that this was a false flag operation and he would never be caught, and really embarrassed themselves and never came back over the weekend. Some of them deleted their tweets. None of them apologized. And I'm also going on a recollection, listening to your excellent show on Friday, where a number of callers really dragged Amy pretty hard on the deal. And, I'm just curious if they're in the same league as the Twitter mob that basically just went into hiding on the issue regarding their comments.
Well,
I keep waiting for Greg and Schomburg to call in.
Thanks for the call, Tom.
Because he swore on Bunky's life that it would be an Antifa member who did this.
Yeah, I mean,
But
this
I don't.
is why we rejected the false flag theories that were being presented over the last, the last 3 days of last week. And hopefully this will serve as a cautionary tale for the conspiracy theorists among us.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. We all know increasing revenue's tough, but did you know that 100% of main sources of income fail? The odds are 100% that your current main source of income will someday no longer exist. 439 of 1955's original Fortune 500 are no longer around, yet their industries and even their product lines still thrive. What happened to these companies? Simple. They didn't believe that 100% of main sources of income fail. They never added a second revenue model. For years, my friends at Income Store have helped both households and businesses build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
I used to post to job boards only to be overwhelmed with resumes,
which made it easy to miss a great candidate.
That old process was
not smart. Then I went to ZipRecruiter.
Its technology finds the right people
and actively invites them to apply.
So I get qualified candidates fast. Smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try it now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with over 1,000 reviews.
Welcome to Jimmy John's.
Hi, your new 9-grain wheat sub is so good. How do you make it?
With the highest quality ingredients and love. I mean, we definitely don't sing at lullabies when it's baking. Lullabies are what parents sing to babies.
Right.
And we don't use a baby carrier to carry the warm, fresh 9-grain wheat subs to the cooling racks. I mean, they're not babies. They're for making delicious sandwiches.
Okay. I'll take a turkey tom.
Oh, don't name them. It makes it harder.
Try our new 9-grain wheat sub, Jimmy John's. Wheat yeah, freak yeah.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. I know there's nothing new in this world, but the left's routine is getting quite old. Just as the left contended Sarah Palin's crosshairs art over digital congressional maps was responsible for the Gabby Gifford shooting, so we're now told President Trump's dismissal of the D.C. press corps as fake news and declaration that Don Lemon is the dumbest man on TV is to blame for the bomb delivered to CNN. Words matter, declared CNN President Jeff Zucker. Mattering is not a synonym for causation. When a Utah man was indicted earlier this month for sending a threatening ricin-laced letter to Trump, I don't recall CNN featuring any roundtable discussions or accusatory chyron suggesting the Trump is Hitler crowd was to blame. When a Bernie Sanders supporter opened fire on congressional Republicans, I don't remember any suggestion from the left that Comrade Bernie's overheated criticisms of Trump as a totalitarian incited the shooting. What's the standard for establishing who's liable for political violence, you ask? Depends on the target, is the answer the D.C. press corps offers. Words do matter, and the words offered by human refrigerator magnets impersonating political leaders and the Democrat Party comms team masquerading as journalists are precisely what elected Trump and will re-elect.
Al Kovac Jr., Navy veteran, Paralyzed Veterans of America.
You fought the good fight and served your country with valor. Now it's our turn to fight for you.
Sherman Gillums Jr., Marine Corps veteran, Paralyzed Veterans of America.
We help you secure full benefits, quality health care, and job opportunities.
To learn more, visit pva.org, a public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
The death penalty. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what Robert Bowers might face. He's due to make his first court appearance in Saturday's shooting spree in Pittsburgh.
Hallelujah. Salvation and glory.
That was at a vigil last night for the 11 murdered and 6 wounded at a synagogue on Saturday.
He entered with 3 handguns and an AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle. They say he used all 4 weapons in his rampage. An FBI affidavit quotes Bowers during his gunfight with police saying, "They are committing genocide to my people. I just want to kill Jews." The U.S. attorney has now stated that the process is in place to seek the death penalty.
That's Fox's David Lee Miller in front of the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. Cesar Sayoc also expected in court today. He's accused of mailing those pipe bombs to 14 prominent Democrats and Trump critics.
Sayoc is likely to be shackled by the arms, by the legs, and by the waist. We are learning a little more about him as well, both from family members and from co-workers. His sister said she hopes he gets the mental health help help that he needs and that he got weirder as the years went on.
Fox's Steve Harrigan in Miami. They have found bodies and debris, but no survivors in the sea where a plane crashed in Indonesia with 189 people on board. The pilot of the Lion Air flight asked to return to the airport 2 minutes after takeoff. Why, we don't know. The crash happened about 10 minutes later. Lion Air's president says that plane had a technical problem in its prior flight, but that issue had been resolved. The World Series is over, and they partied in the streets of Boston last night after the Red Sox won it.
They didn't think we'd get past the Yankees. We beat them. They didn't think we'd beat the champs from last year. We beat them. And now we're the new champs.
Well, the Red Sox beat the Dodgers 5-1 in Game 5 in Los Angeles, Boston's fourth baseball championship since 2004. This is Fox News.
Skies are fair. We have 42 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. One person wounded following a shooting on the Dan Ryan Expressway in Chicago. The victim shot in the leg while riding in a vehicle early this morning near Marquette Road. All express lanes were blocked at that time while police investigate. No word on any arrests. And Jim Talamonte updates the story in traffic in just a moment. A 16-year-old boy faces charges of making threats against Homewood Flossmoor High in the south suburbs. Police say school officials became aware over the weekend of 2 social media postings that displayed a gun and threatened violence at the school today. No classes canceled, but there will be an increased police presence. In other news this morning, authorities have confirmed the remains found in a barrel last week in Lockport belonged to a Joliet woman who went missing earlier this month. Ashley Tucker disappeared after leaving a party at her father's house on October 13th. A dog is dead, a woman in stable condition after they were attacked by another dog at a store on Chicago's southwest side. The pet store company says the attack happened yesterday when a bull mastiff broke free of its kennel at the pet store near 42nd and Pulaski. The woman hospitalized with severe bites to her arm and right middle finger. Chicago aldermen are set to vote this week on a plan to modernize Union Station at taxpayer expense. Appearing at the 93-year-old railway station yesterday, Mayor Emanuel says the redevelopment is an investment job he believes for growth and economic opportunity for the area. Mitch Trubisky threw for 220 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bears beat the Jets 24-10 at Soldier Field. Jordan Howard ran for 81 yards and a score as well. Connor McDavid lit the lamp 53 seconds into overtime, lifting the Oilers over the Blackhawks at the UC 2-1. Fire wrap up the 2018 season with a scoreless draw at home against DC United. The Red Sox World Series champs after a 5-1 win over the Dodgers. The news service of Geico Chicagoland. Hey, Chicago, Geico now has even more ways to help save you money. Kevin, your local Geico agent, ready to deliver the personal service you need with the savings you love. Stop by his local office on Cicero Avenue or call 773-582-8888 for Kevin, your local Geico agent. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity sees a shaky foundation.
Now that there's irrefutable and incontrovertible evidence that it's the highest-ranking members of the FBI and DOJ that are involved in nefarious activities and abuse of power to prevent one person from becoming president, the house of cards is beginning to tumble.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, we're all the same when it comes to property taxes.
We're not going to be living in Illinois anymore, and it's due to the property taxes.
Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org. You stay. The politicians go. Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
Amazon is raising the bar on wages. Beginning November 1st, pay starts at $15 an hour in the Chicago area. Learn more and apply online at amazon.com/Chicago Jobs. Amazon's an equal opportunity employer.
It is 6:07, and a check on the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
The inbound Dan Ryan Expressway remains closed from 87th to the Chicago Skyway after a shooting. Traffic is forced off at 87th, and we have a huge jam starting on inbound I-57 at 115th. 40 minutes from I-80 to merge. Bishop Ford at 45 minutes. The jam starting before the Stony Island feeder. Ryan entrance ramps are closed, 87th to 71st. There's a fire in Round Lake Beach this morning at a coffee shop, 83 North Rollins. Kennedy, 24 minutes, O'Hare to downtown outbound 27. Eisenhower, 38 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to the drive. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Turning out to have a mostly sunny day for today with a high 55, then tonight becoming partly cloudy, a low 43. Tomorrow will be a mostly cloudy day. We'll have a shower or thunderstorm in a few spots in the morning, rain in the afternoon, high 58. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
41 at O'Hare, 44 along the lakefront. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Do we hate each other?
Sometimes.
Do we hate each other? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. This op-ed in Detroit News by Nolan Finley. We hate each other. It's no longer a matter of incivility, it's open hostility. Visceral loathing. Extreme intolerance of anyone who challenges our perception of the truth. Too many Republicans guffaw at the boorish preening of a narcissistic president who, every time he passes gas, boasts that it's the most glorious in the history of the White House. It's sort of unfortunate rhetorical choice. But you get the point. Too many Democrats, Mr. Finley continues, are drenched in self-righteousness, convinced of their superiority over the deplorable masses. They can't grasp that intelligent people can look at the same set of facts, apply to them their own values and experiences, and come up with different opinions. We don't want to hear what the other side has to say. The left bullies, the right bullies back. They shout, we shout. And when it spins out of control, a left-wing wacko shoots up a Republican baseball practice, and a right-wing nut mails out bombs to Democrats. This is who we are, and it's who will be long after Donald Trump is gone. He hasn't changed America. America's character has changed. From Nolan Finley, who's a talk show host up in Detroit. You agree with that? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. And again, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
I agree wholeheartedly. And it's Vice President Mike Pence pretty much said the same.
Does the president bear some responsibility for this?
No, not at all. And neither did Bernie Sanders bear any responsibility when the Illinois man opened fire at a Republican baseball practice.
But then just last week, the president said it was okay for a candidate to body slam a reporter. He's called the press the enemy of the people. How is this not related? It seems that this man is actually following the president's rhetoric.
Well, Tara, clearly the president was joking in Montana. And I think the president and I both are frustrated from time to time with the fact that many in the media focus on the negative.
Mike Pence isn't saying what Nolan Finley wrote at all. He's not saying that at all. He's saying these are one-offs that have nothing to do with politics and should be politicized. That's the implication. And, of course, there's never an excuse for political violence.
Never.
Violence to advance your political views. I mean, you're trying to depose a dictatorship in Venezuela or something. You're defending yourself. You're trying to take out a totalitarian regime. There are extreme cases, but we're not talking about that here. We're talking about political violence because you disagree with somebody else in the context of a free society. That is a qualitatively different thing. But, I mean, do you hate people who disagree with you? Do you hate the Democrat socialists? That's really what Nolan Finley is saying, or what he's suggesting. And that if you're a Democrat socialist, do you hate conservatives? Well, let's talk to a Democrat socialist. Philip in Blue Island, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Thank
Look,
you.
if we can run the tape back a little bit, starting with Dylan Wolf running around with Make America great hat on again, America, whatever they want to call it, and then you fast forward to Dylan Wolf, then in South Carolina where the young lady was killed by a guy that came all the way out of Ohio to ram his car into a crowd of marchers or protesters, whatever. And now this weekend, and the saddest thing about this weekend is that most of those people that were killed in that synagogue were over the age of 65, and that just tore my heart apart.
Yeah.
But this weekend, a guy at a Kroger or something went to a church first.
Yeah, he went to African American.
He couldn't get in, and a black church, and then he went to a Kroger and decided to shoot a couple of other elderly black individuals, a lady and a man. But then he was encountered by somebody who concealed carry, and I don't know how this conversation went down, but it ended up saying, well, don't shoot me, bro. I'm, white people don't shoot white people, and he actually didn't get shot. He was actually caught. And now this bombing thing. And so if you connect all of that, and again, you go back to Trump, even before he was president, with Dylan Wolf killing a bunch of people in the church. Trump's rhetoric, actually, all this weekend transpired after his nationalist identity was revealed to the world. And so if you really just look at everything that Trump has said from the very outset of his campaign until, even what Pence was just saying was just ridiculous. So if we can't look at Trump or the leader of the free world in his rhetoric and what he says and the vice president, he's just a joke, he's joking, not that he's a joke. A lot of people think he's a joke, the president, but you need to take his words very seriously.
Okay, so is Trump responsible for these atrocities? Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm suggesting his rhetoric has opened up what the proverbial Pandora's box, and a lot of people have a lot of these ideals and these feelings. Once the leader says it's okay,
the Pandora's box just got opened. Huh? What about the 14 mass shootings that occurred while President Obama was president? What about the Overland Park? I'm not done. I'm not done. What about the Overland?
I didn't know.
What about the Overland Park, Kansas Jewish Community Center, where a shooting occurred in 2014? How do you connect that to Trump?
I'm not. I'm saying what his rhetoric is doing now, today.
You say
starting back to where.
But you said it.
Starting back with Dylan Roof.
But you said
but
it.
I'm saying, come on, America has always been violent. I mean, you talking about do we hate each other? I mean, who hates who? If you want to go back in history and talk about, you don't want to go back 100 years. You don't want to go back that far. But I'm just saying, saying that, okay, when we look at who hates who in America, I can say that it started with a civil war, which I think we're in the midst of now.
All right, Philip, a couple things. One is the Charleston church shooting happened in 2015. That's number one.
I understand that.
Right. Okay. So I don't know
he wasn't president.
I don't know what Dylan Roof has to do with Donald
No,
Trump.
I'm saying he had to make America great hat on in a lot of his pictures.
Okay.
And then Trump goes to South Carolina and says there's good people on both sides.
Yeah, and
so I'm talking about his rhetoric.
And you also said he opened up Pandora's box, and then you're saying that Pandora's box was opened up long ago. You're conceding the obvious.
I'm just saying that America has a lot of closeted hatred that's just been closed up, and I think a lot of Trump's rhetoric is opening certain doors to certain people that they could just come out and do racist things and say crazy things, like the lady who did call Twitter about the bomber. And Twitter looks back and said, well, no, we don't see anything relevant here. And now the guy comes out, and now Twitter has to come back and apologize because they didn't take her, because he was threatening her with a bomb and didn't take it seriously. So I'm just saying, a lot of Trump, tamp down the rhetoric. Stop it, because it's getting crazier.
All right, thanks for
That's
the
all
call. Thanks for the
Dylan
call,
Roof
Philip.
never wore a "Make America Great Again" hat.
I don't recall that.
No, he
either,
didn't.
but
He didn't.
I
I'm looking at all his social media postings. He one time held a small Confederate flag, but that was not him.
Can I just direct people's attention to this most excellent piece from Kevin Williamson in National Review? Because it could not be more timely. Rage makes you stupid. He almost doesn't even have to write anything else to explain the thesis, but it's a great top line to consider. Rage makes you stupid. People who have the strongest feelings about the things they know the least about. What are we supposed to think about political rage? He goes on to say, I'm sometimes described as an angry writer, Kevin Williamson, which always surprises me. I am much, much more frequently bored by American politics than outraged by it. Oh, that's good. Senator Feinstein doesn't fill me with rage. She has the exact aspect of a woman who is very, very sad that the bingo game didn't break her way this time. And it's difficult to be angry about that. I do not think she should be in the Senate, but I do hope wherever she ends up, there's someone there to make her a nice cup of hot tea. Exactly.
Brilliant.
Exactly. Our politics is full, Kevin Williamson goes on, just this last piece. Our politics is full of performative outrage, histrionics that are designed to imbue unserious people with an air of moral seriousness and to keep the rubes emotionally invested long enough to get them to a commercial break. Obviously a reference to the cable news channels. Yeah, what Kevin Williamson said. Greg in Schaumburg.
Okay, I was mentioned before the news, and for starters,
called out. I would
anybody
say. Yeah.
Do what?
Called out by Amy. I would say.
Yeah. I guess I get to keep Bunky.
So
yeah.
Well, for starters, if I owe anyone an apology, you'd have it instantly, including any of the listeners. What I thought I was making this point is as follows. Number one, I thought I was resubstantiating much of what you were saying, Dan. And Amy, what I specifically said is sometimes you defend a media quote when they don't deserve it. I think you go into reporter mode, but I think what you are doing is not just a reactive. You're actually believing that Trump's mannerisms cause a causality for things to happen. And that's the intellectual point that I was debating you upon, okay? Then the second thing is, Dan, as you were handling the calls on Friday and even lately, you seem to rule out any kind of speculation. And that is true. You know, there's a lot of emotion. But after we've just been through with what the deep state has done, I think at least you can pose that. And I thought I was doing that on Friday. I didn't do it cleanly. I listened afterwards. And thus, the bet that I made on Bunky's bed, if this doesn't turn out to be, a crazy. You have a bed, Amy, and I love you both.
All right, thanks for the call, Greg. Thanks for the call. I would just say there's a difference between speculation and conspiracy theorizing.
Which one? Come on, pick one.
Is it Dane in DeKalb? Dane?
Morning, Dan.
Hey.
Amy, how are you?
Good, hello.
Good.
So they have this debate, and the gentleman you just had on, Phil, likes to discuss this and make some moral equivalence. The 12 Rules for Radicals says to use their morality against them, and we already know what they're doing. Why do we? This is pretty plain and simple of how to defeat this.
Well, okay, that's right. Thanks for the call, Dane. I'm not saying that, but the question isn't, do we know what they're doing? You're right. I mean, it is a playbook they've used time and time again and continue to use. The ascribing blame to conservatives or whoever their top political target is at the time is what the left does. And they don't need facts to do it. And they don't need, and they will continue to do it even when they're proven wrong. I mean, David Axelrod accused the Tea Party of being responsible for the Gabby Gifford shooting. Did you hear David Axelrod ever walk that back? No. So that's the same thing you're seeing today with the incredibly, not just the bomber, but the
Pittsburgh shooter.
But the Pittsburgh shooter, the anti-Semite, the bigot who shot up the synagogue in Pittsburgh, who also in his social media rants was critical of Trump for being too pro-Israel and being a globalist.
And was upset that he moved the embassy and all that.
But Trump is still responsible for the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting. If you listen to those people that Kevin Williamson was referencing on cable news this morning.
No one is a greater friend to Israel than President Trump. President Trump's daughter converted to Judaism. President Trump's son-in-law is Jewish.
Beyond Trump, it is conservatives who are the chief defenders and proponents for Israel, and not to mention Judeo-Christian values upon which this country was founded. It is conservatives. It is not conservatives who spark the BDS movement on college campuses across the nation. It's the left. It's not the conservatives who refer to the Palestinian state. It's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. It's not conservatives who say satanic Jews have infected the whole world with poison and deceit. That's Louis Farrakhan. In May of this year, Louis Farrakhan. Is there an accounting for that? Any questions being asked? Louis Farrakhan doesn't exist, certainly not with the profile he has, without the D.C. and Chicago press corps. Anybody want to ask him about the synagogue shooting? This is Louis Farrakhan, referred to by the press as Minister Farrakhan, because this is somebody who demands and deserves respect, right?
Cult.
It's now becoming apparent, Louis Farrakhan, another classic. It's now becoming apparent that there were many Israelis as Zionist Jews in key roles in the 9/11 attacks. Israelis had foreknowledge of the attacks. We know that many Jews received a text message not to come to work on September 11th. You like your global Jewish conspiracies, you get them at Louis Farrakhan in his big palatial estate in Hyde Park. Bruce in Bloomingdale, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning. You know, your couple callers ago is a perfect illustration of a liberal. History begins yesterday, and history is what they say it is. And it's why they're trying to tear down monuments and rip up, old 100-year-old reputations. It's because if you control history and you control language, you control minds. We need to just reject that line of thinking, point at them, and laugh. Have a nice day.
Well said, Bruce. Thank you. Steve in Libertyville.
Hi, Dan and Amy. I'd just like to talk about something like Facebook. It's like the biggest troublemaker starter of all arguments. It would be like when you were in high school and somebody would be talking about somebody having fun with somebody else's sister. They would have just took you around the back and beat the death out of you, and you would have been on your way. But today, we have people that are doing this constantly, and it's causing anger amongst everybody. And there is no factual truth about anything that they say about anything. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Steve. Mike on the north side.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I'd like to address the accusations made by that ignorant person from Blue Island. If we're going to blame President Trump for every criminal act made because he said something, how about right here in Chicago and Cook County? Do we blame the Cook County Democrats for enabling criminals, for putting them back on the street, for low bail, for not holding them accountable, for emptying out whole sections of the jail and making Chicago downtown a shooting gallery? They're the ones putting them back, enabling them. When do they take any blame for anything?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mike. Words matter, but so do actions and policy choices, to Mike's point.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get a $79 furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do on this show each morning. Long-form interviews in our Against the Current series, still featuring John Kass, Chicago Tribune columnist John Kass's election preview sit-down with me. But coming this week, we'll have, for those who were unable to attend Freedom Summit, we'll have long-form interviews with some of our featured speakers from Freedom Summit, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark, Project Veritas founder James O'Keefe, as well as War on Cops and Diversity Delusion author Heather McDonald. So you want to look for those this week at upstream-ideas.com. And then don't forget our sister sites, defendhomeowners.com and also saveyourhomenow.org in the context of the November 6th election. Property tax stories, free property tax report on your home, home sales info for your community, all the things that should be informing your vote on November 6th that you can get at defendhomeowners.com, saveyourhomenow.org, and then the interviews and everything else at upstream-ideas.com.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes, warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. And you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One and a member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Play ball! That's Senator Joe Donnelly coming to the plate wearing a fake Indiana uniform. Donnelly says he always swings for Indiana. But did Donnelly support Trump's nomination of Judge Brett Kavanaugh? No.
Strike one!
But did Donnelly support tax cuts to help Hoosier families and small businesses create jobs? No.
Strike two!
Did Donnelly vote to allow Christian ministries to receive funds to help young people find jobs? No.
Strike three! You're out, Donnelly!
On November 6th, you can bench Joe Donnelly for good.
Mike Braun is a lifetime Hoosier and successful conservative businessman from Jasper who graduated from Wabash College. Mike is pro-life and an avid defender of the Second Amendment. Hoosiers need Mike Braun to help drain the swamp. Elect Mike Braun to the U.S. Senate. Paid for by Patriotic Veterans, a nonprofit tax-exempt organization.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I thought I had a sinus headache for a few days, but I had a massive brain aneurysm, hemorrhage of the brain, and a stroke, and I was on my deathbed. I was on a respirator in a coma for 35 days, and 3 months later, I came home in a wheelchair. I had double vision. I had to learn to walk again, to speak again. 1 and 1 is 2, write the alphabet. You know, if I went out and did a little something, I'd come home, I'd be in bed. Now, I'm up by like 5:30 in the morning, and I go to the gym. I do shopping. I cook. I have energy all day. I mean, I feel great. overall, my whole outlook, just feeling, my mental aspect, everything is better.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Will the Florida bomber and the Pittsburgh synagogue shooter, will that inform or change even your vote on November 6th? The impact on the midterms at 6:36.
And looky here, guess who met privately with President Trump when he was here in Southern Illinois? One Governor Ronner. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
6:31, 41 degrees, and a search and rescue operation is underway. But agency officials in Jakarta, Indonesia, say they're not expecting any survivors from a Lion airplane that crashed into the seas with 189 on board. That plane that crashed had been cleared by air traffic controllers to return to Jakarta's airport following a request from its pilot about 2 to 3 minutes after takeoff. The man accused of murdering 11 at a Pittsburgh synagogue faces a judge this afternoon. Robert Bauer is facing 29 charges in the shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue Saturday. The top leader of the Anti-Defamation League says the shooting at the Pittsburgh synagogue can be traced to the current political rhetoric.
Anti-Semitism has moved from the margins into the mainstream as political candidates and people in public life now literally repeat the rhetoric of white supremacists.
National Director and CEO Jonathan Greenblatt on NBC's Meet the Press, but Democrat Senator Chris Coons slightly disagrees. He now places the blame on both political parties for today's climate.
Our national political culture is motivating folks who are inspired by hate, by fear, by bigotry, to take up and act on their deranged ideas.
And he pointed to California Representative Maxine Waters and her call for protesters to confront members of the Trump administration out in public spaces. He says actions like Waters' call further divide the nation. One person is wounded following a shooting on the Dan Ryan this morning. The victim shot while riding in a vehicle near Marquette Road. No word of any arrest, and police continue to investigate. A 16-year-old boy faces charges of making threats against Homewood Flossmoor High in the south suburbs. Police became aware over the weekend of 2 social media posts. No classes will be canceled, but there will be an increased police presence. State public health officials say they've identified a cluster of Legionnaire's disease in Chicago. The department says the cluster involves 2 residents at the Warren Barr South Loop nursing home. Bears over the Jets at Soldier Field, 24-10. Connor McDavid lit the lamp 53 seconds into OT, and the Oilers beat the Blackhawks at the UC 2-1. The news service of the T.J. Martell Foundation, Music's Promise for a Cure. To learn more, visit tjmartell.org, tjmartell.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The world is a dangerous place. Often, it's a very ugly place, and you come here to try to help make sense of it all. We give you the latest news, help you understand what it means and why it's important. But there are bigger questions you need answered about life and death, faith and hope. And that's where our sister station, AM 1160, Hope for Your Life, comes in. When you're looking for answers to life's biggest questions, give them a listen at AM 1160 or online at 1160hope.com.
Looking to secure financing on a new home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Stephanie, account manager, contacted her credit union to get pre-qualified for a mortgage. Bad move. The credit union's alleged mortgage expert informed Stephanie she couldn't purchase a home without a cosigner. Wrong. Stephanie's grandfather would cosign, but she wanted to do it herself. After hearing hundreds of our ads, Stephanie called for a free consultation. An experienced Team Hochberg mortgage professional answered Stephanie's questions and helped her secure a mortgage without a cosigner. Let's review. The inexperienced mortgage professional at Stephanie's credit union stated she needed a cosigner to purchase a home, and Team Hochberg secured her a mortgage without a cosigner. When securing a mortgage, you could either get terrible advice at your credit union, or you could call Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
The following is a paid political announcement.
This Manufacturing Minute brought to you by the Technology and Manufacturing Association.
This is Rich Hoster, president of Smith & Richardson Manufacturing in Geneva. Did you know that Illinois is home to 5 of the 10 biggest manufacturing zip codes in the nation and the largest industrial park in North America? And did you know that exports of U.S. manufactured goods have quadrupled over the past 25 years? That's right, manufacturing here in Illinois is strong and growing stronger. Manufacturing is no longer pouring hot iron into castings on an assembly line with sparks flying in dirty factories. U.S. manufacturing has advanced into high-skilled precision manufacturing, with factories cleaner than your kitchen, producing parts for industries such as aerospace, automotive, medical, agricultural, and tech. Today's high-tech manufacturing is the engine of our economy, and it needs our support so it can drive our state and nation forward.
This Manufacturing Minute brought to you by the Technology and Manufacturing Association. Learn more at tmaillinois.org.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's Megan Crane. A weekly conversation about top political issues ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Available on Apple Podcasts.
6:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonti.
The inbound Ryan is closed from 79th to Skyway after an early morning shooting. Traffic is forced off the inbound Ryan now at 79th Street. Huge delays starting on the inbound I-57 at 119th. 50 minutes I-80 merge. Bishop Ford 45 minutes. Delays starting before the Stony Island feeder. Kennedy 30 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 39 and near Montrose. There are vehicles on the shoulder where they hit some wood debris. Eisenhower, 50 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, hour and 12 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Northbound Tri-State delays, 115th, the 83rd Street toll, the Stevenson to 31st, St. Charles to Balmoral. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
And Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny, 55 today, partly cloudy and 43 overnight. Currently 41. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, I just wanted to tell you something, though, real quickly. 2 Muslim groups came forward after that shooting in Pittsburgh, raised $55,000 in just 24 hours because they want to respond to evil with good, and they're going to help pay for funeral costs for those lives, for the family members whose lives are lost.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I think it speaks to this larger question, since the D.C. Press Corps is flogging outrage. Do we, and then this op-ed that we discussed from Nolan Finley, who's a Detroit area talk show host, that we hate each other. Sort of a simple thing like, oh, the left and the right, and you have the Bernie Sanders shooter on one side, and you have the Florida bomber on the other. Do you think we really hate each other, or is it more the case that we confuse the violence and the volume from a few for the views of the many? 312-642-5600 Turnkey Depot answer line. I mean, do you think that the rage you see, Antifa, Proud Boys, the one-off acts of violence from bigots and the mentally deranged, and is that's representative of some larger decimation of character in America? Is it? Boy, I don't know. That's a lot of extrapolation for me. I mean, yeah, the rhetoric is intense, but very few. I don't know. Well, you can't be a serious person if you're condoning violence in advance of a policy disagreement over health insurance coverage or taxation or admissions policies at universities or what have you. The sort of the discussions we have about public policy in America. You should fight for what you believe in. If you feel like, or there's evidence to suggest your rights are being infringed upon, that we have to have these discussions. The sort of order versus freedom line. Where is that? The role of police in a free society. All of these big discussions. But if you're someone who promotes violence as a way to get your way on one of these issues, then you're not a serious person. Don't you think that's the majority opinion in America?
Yes.
We saw this with the people being accosted at restaurants, which is obviously much less severe than people being shot or bombs being sent to people.
But it's still a form of harassment, and it could have escalated.
I understand, but the point is the public reaction to it. The public reaction to it was, we don't like that. I may not like Sarah Sanders or Ted Cruz or Christian Nielsen or the McConnells, but I don't like that. People shouldn't do that.
But some people feel like they should do that.
Yeah,
some are politicians who...
I understand, but my point is that there's a lot of people who, including Democrats, who didn't, Democrat socialists who didn't like that because they understand that the American people don't like that. So I just go back again to say some sense of proportion here when you talk about people who commit violence out of a hatred for other people or out of a disagreement over politics with other people. You think that that's really something the American public writ large tolerates, supports, condones? I don't see that at all. John in Elsip, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes, sir. Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
So I kind of was referencing the guy that talked about from Blue Island a little bit. I don't like to say that I hate people per se, but their political policies. Going back to, like he had mentioned, the Civil War, even the Revolutionary War. At some point, people have got to take a side. And these radical sides are on both sides. Okay, one is completely one way and the other is completely the other. And, at some point, we got to fight for what we believe in.
Yeah, well, that's right. There's no problem. It's just the nature of the fight, how that fight manifests itself. If it manifests itself in the public arena, in courts of law, in elections, peaceful elections, that's the fight. That's where you take the fight. You don't take the fight by, taking sticks and other instruments of violence to the streets. That's the conversation we're having. And I think on that latter point, there's not really much disagreement. So maybe all of this about the quote-unquote toxic, oh my gosh, talk about a cliche, political climate or political rhetoric is a bit overblown.
Well, how many times do we hear that
Thanks
this weekend?
for the call, John.
Everything's toxic.
Toxicity in our politics.
But I just, I think the word hate is too strong. I always say I don't understand people sometimes. I don't understand their political view, but I don't hate them because of it. And that's just me. That's how I process things. That's how I survive in the city that I live in. I just listen and I hear their point of view and then tell them my point of view. Try to get the facts in there too, because, that's important. But I don't hate. I
despise the views of the Democrat Socialists because they're antithetical to liberty.
Okay.
But I don't despise the people. You can dislike very much something somebody says or does, but that I'm not passing judgment on the person as a equal member of this free society. I just don't think it's that difficult, and I think that's sort of where the overwhelming majority of people are. So this sort of whipping yourself into a frenzy or allowing cable news shows to whip you into a frenzy, I don't get. I think there are just more substantive matters. And the suggestion, at least by Michael Goodwin, the New York Post this weekend, is that people's votes will turn on those more substantive matters. And so that's the question. The impact of the atrocities of the last 72 hours, the bombings, or the bombs that were sent, you know what I mean, as well as, obviously, that massacre at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. Do you look at that in a political context? Does that inform your vote on November 6th? Or are you looking at things that have to do with sort of substantive policy making, like, say, for example, what are we going to do with the caravan making its way to the border in the context of our national security, our border security, our immigration policy? Is that something that's more likely to inform your vote, or something else that's of a substantive policy matter? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Lewis in Dayton, Texas.
Hey, good morning, guys. I wanted to comment and say about, all the stuff that's been going on. First of all, with the pipe bombs that were sent to all the DNCs, and my heart goes out to the people of Pittsburgh in the shootings. But I wanted to, say that a lot, we're born neutral. We don't have a political affiliation when we're born, when we come out the womb. A lot of the stuff that happens is either taught or inbred, or taught or bred into the children and teaching them this type of violence or things that they learn later on in life. I think that with that being said, our political leaders at times act immature and they act violently and they talk violently, and the way they speak sometimes gives people the wrong impression. And I think that they need to be the ones to set the example of how to, to show us that how to do things properly in a political stage, how to talk, how to work things out. This is a democratic society, and instead of saying, hey, let's go harass this person and beat this person up, they need to be the ones to say, listen, like on your show, you bring people from the left and, the Republicans together to have a discussion, to have a forum to talk about things. But a lot of times our political leaders want to act more on petty things of violence. Go harass this person. I think that the problems are going to continue, but our leaders need to set the example of how to be politically correct and how to do things right in this stage. And I think that'll spill over into the public, and they can see how to properly act and how to do things.
Yeah, thanks for calling us. I mean, I don't know. How much instruction do you take from politicians? Or how much you say, hey, little Johnny or Susie, look at our U.S. Senator. That's how you should conduct yourself. I wouldn't recommend it. I would
never
not recommend it.
I don't say, oh, hey, why don't you emulate their behavior? No, I never. No.
And by the way, the political discourse can get heated, and there's nothing wrong with that either. It can't all be over the top heated. You have to modulate, otherwise you're sort of a lunatic. But it can get heated, as long as you're starting from the premise that we fight our political battles through the institutions of a free society. I just don't think it's that complicated. But I know the cable news channels have to fill 24 hours of programming, but they could do it in a less embarrassing way, more productive. I mean, seriously, we asked this question of Rich Lowry when we had him on several weeks back at National Review. It's like the question Mel Brooks gets when he goes around doing screenings of Blazing Saddles. Do you think Blazing Saddles could be made today? And he says no.
Oh, absolutely not.
And I asked Rich Lowry, you think Firing Line could be made today? Buckley's debate show? And he said, no, probably not. Well, it's certainly not around. There's nothing approximating intelligent debate on the cable news, not from most of what I've seen, which is why I rarely watch any of it. Greg in Rogers Park.
Hi, good morning. Great interview with Sheriff Clark, Dan, on against the current.
Thank you.
But I take the point of view where I look at the incident in Pittsburgh and the guy that sent the bombs as those being individuals that chose to do evil acts and have mental illness and that sort of thing. Where I look at, when I go to vote, I look at the individual and what kind of policy are they going to be promoting in the legislator, in the county board, in the alderman's office, whatever. And I don't, I separate the two as evil acts versus, policy. And here, I live in Rogers Park. There's very little good policy up here except for liberal Joe Moore, who's got some of the worst alderman acts that he's, introduced.
Sure, banning foie gras. Yeah. Never forgiven him.
And
cuts
the
into
other
my
thing too
diet.
is and I have compassion for him, but I have very little respect for him. I just.
And nor should you. Yeah. Thanks for the call, Greg. No, exactly. You don't have to pretend that so many of these politicians are selfless public servants. You don't have to go along with a charade to be legitimate or to be a legitimate participant in public discourse.
Stop taking pictures, too, with our lawmakers like they're rock stars. They work for us. They should be taking pictures with you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. You pay me. Arden McHenry.
Good morning. You know, they want to blame Trump saying his rhetoric, you know, the chants lock her up or and things like that or what's infuriating people. That's Trump's people asking for the law to be enforced, not for this crap to be going on like what happened in the synagogue. And how can you blame Trump when you got Farrakhan out there making these comments less than a week ago? You know, Trump loves everybody, you know. They twist everything he says to be something bad. Trump has never called for any kind of violence out there against each other. You know, he wants us all this country to be a great country again. And the left and places like CNN just try to twist everything he says into something negative when he's not trying to be negative. He's trying to be funny. He's trying to enjoy the crowd, enjoy the moment. But people just want to twist everything he says. This is just ridiculous.
Thanks for the call, Art.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Investors hoping for a big market rebound this week. President Trump versus the drug makers. Those stories next.
When it comes to your identity and the personal information on your devices, there's no soundtrack to let you know you're in danger. Today's digital world is so connected, it just takes one weak link for criminals to get in. Good thing new LifeLock now adds the power of Norton Security. LifeLock uses proprietary technology to detect threats like your personal info for sale on the dark web. And Norton Security helps protect up to 5 devices from ransomware and other online threats. Plus, if you have a problem, our agents will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or cybercrime or monitor all transactions at all businesses. But with LifeLock, we can help alert you to danger. Join now and get 10% off your first year plus a $25 Amazon gift card with annual enrollment. Just go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code SMART. Terms apply. New LifeLock with Norton. More detection, more protection.
October has been a painful month for Wall Street, stocks piling up losses and investors hoping for higher stock prices this week. Economic reports ahead include a third-quarter productivity report from the Labor Department, reports on construction spending and October auto sales as well, and Starbucks and Apple report their quarterly results. And this is the last full week before the midterm elections. President Trump pushing a plan to lower prices for some prescription drugs. His administration on a collision course with the powerful pharmaceutical industry. The president wants to tie what Medicare pays for certain drugs to lower prices paid in other economically advanced countries. Trump administration officials dismissing a drug maker's charge that the plan would import socialized price controls on drugs. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
For years, St. John's Northwestern Military Academy has served young men with an outstanding education and preparation for life. And now I'm sure that you've heard that the same experience is available for your daughter. St. John's Northwestern Military Academy is an excellent co-ed environment. It is not a school for troubled kids. Kids come from all over the country, all over the world. Alumni include heads of state, professional athletes, business leaders, the list goes on. And it will prepare your son or daughter for college by focusing on rigorous academics and leadership. St. John's Northwest Military Academy is in Lake County region of southwest Wisconsin, right outside of Milwaukee. And there's always ongoing enrollment, which means that there's still time to enroll your son or daughter for this school year. If you're not happy with your son or daughter's current situation in high school or middle school, make a change. Call St. John's Northwestern Military Academy with any questions. They have operators standing by. They'll answer any questions you have, or you could go up there for a visit. But you have to call first or go online. Their phone number is 1-800-SJ-CADET, 1-800-SJ-CADET, or visit their website, sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
What if you could enjoy total peace of mind when it comes to home security? What if the best technology came from a local company who puts the customer's needs first? Alarm Detection Systems is the right choice for an alarm system with complete control from your phone or tablet. Know when your children arrive home from school. View live streaming video. Check up on your pets. Receive alerts for extreme temperatures. Know if leaks or floods have been detected. Get real-time text alerts sent to your phone. Family-owned and operated since 1968, Alarm Detection Systems understands that nothing is more important than the safety of your family. Your security system will be monitored by our central station in Aurora, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Our on-site security consultation is always free. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6322. That's 630-844-6322. Alarm license number 127000143.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hey, where is Sleepin' Joe Donnelly? A whole caravan of illegal immigrants is headed towards the United States, and Donnelly is silent, not a peep. But in commercials, he pretends to be tough on the border. Ha! Donnelly voted for amnesty and endorsed open borders liberal Hillary Clinton for president.
Sleepy Joe.
Joe Donnelly isn't one of us anymore. He's one of them. Listen to Mike Braun.
Career politicians like Joe Donnelly will say anything to keep their jobs. The truth is, Donnelly voted against Judge Kavanaugh, for the Iran nuclear deal, and even backed Hillary Clinton for president. We deserve better. I spent my career in the real world, creating jobs and getting things done. In Washington, I'll fight to bring back good-paying jobs and fix our health care. I'm Mike Braun. I approve this message, and I ask for your vote.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Chicago homeowners, there's never been a better time to permanently fix your low water pressure, rusty water, and pipe leaks by repiping your home today. Repipe Specialist has been serving Chicago for many years, collectively repiping over 35,000 homes in their 25 years in business. They've built a reputation on offering the most efficient repipe process for seamless installation and customer convenience, repiping an entire home in just 1 to 2 days, patching your walls, and providing a lifetime guarantee. Repipe Specialist only uses the best repiping materials with USA Grade L copper or high-quality PEX pipes. For a limited time, take advantage of their most affordable offer. Right now, on approved credit, prices start as low as $99 per month. That's right, a quality home repipe, wall patching, a lifetime guarantee, and prices starting at just $99 per month. They'll provide a free in-home estimate explaining their process tailored for your home. So, call Repipe Specialist today for your free in-home estimate at 800-216-0130. That's 800-216-0130. 800-216-0130.
Did you know that studies have shown that we need over 10 servings of fruits and veggies every single day? If you're like me, it's hard to find the time and money to prepare and eat all of those fruits and vegetables. Who can do that? Yet we know that proper nutrition can prevent health problems, give us energy, and help us heal faster. Balance of Nature has spent over 20 years researching and delivering solutions to this problem. We can ensure that you consume over 30 different fruits and veggies every single day. Our capsules are filled with 100% real whole foods. There isn't a single thing added to Balance of Nature products. They're pure. We spent an incredible amount of time on the quality of our products. We do this for you. We do it for our own families. Give yourself a break and give your body what it needs. Call now to receive 35% off your first Balance of Nature order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
He survived the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting spree. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
He didn't see us, thank God.
He hid in a dark closet with others, and the gunman didn't see him.
The only thing I had in my hand was a cell phone, and it's a dumb phone, so it doesn't light up when I'm talking on it.
11 others were murdered, 6 wounded. At a vigil last night, Tree of Life Synagogue Rabbi Jeffrey Myers said,
"We will rebuild to be a stronger tree, offering a new light."
The accused shooter is due in court today. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more live.
Dave, Robert Bowers faces 29 federal charges and 11 state charges in the deaths of 11 people after police say he opened fire on Saturday at that synagogue. Bowers posted anti-Semitic messages on social media just minutes before the attack and later told investigators he wanted to, quote, kill Jews. He is hospitalized after being shot by police. Now, the request to seek the death penalty against Bowers has been started. The DOJ says the Attorney General is taking it under consideration. Dave.
Tanya, President Trump condemned the attack and denounced anti-Semitism, but some of his critics say the president's rhetoric is helping divide people. Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, just told Fox.
I can't believe on these shows yesterday and over the weekend, people are politicians pointing the finger, media making it about themselves. Cut it out.
Rescuers in Indonesia now say they do not expect to find any survivors from a plane crash into the sea. They found human remains and debris. 189 people were on board the flight, 2 of them babies. The pilot had asked to return to the Jakarta airport 2 minutes after takeoff. They crashed 10 minutes later. On Wall Street, stocks could rebound from last week's sell-off. Dow futures up more than 100. They're celebrating in Boston again after the Red Sox won the World Series for the 4th time since 2004, beating the Dodgers 5-1 in Game 5 in Los Angeles. It's the Dodgers' second year in a row losing the series. This is Fox News.
Fair skies this early morning, 41 degrees, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. One person wounded following an early morning shooting on the Dan Ryan Expressway. The victim shot in the leg while riding in a vehicle near Marquette. All express lanes were blocked for quite some time. We understand the lanes are open. No word on arrests, and Jim Talamonte has the traffic story in just a moment. A 16-year-old boy faces charges of making threats against Homewood Flossmoor High School. Police say the school became aware over the weekend of social media postings displaying a gun and threatening violence at that school. Investigators identified the teen quickly and determined the threats were not credible. No classes canceled, but there will be an increased presence of police on campus today. Residents of Chicago and the suburbs gathered to remember the victims of the shooting at a Pittsburgh synagogue. Crowd gathering last night at Federal Plaza in the Loop to honor the 11 killed.
As Christians and Jews and Muslims, it's time to come together.
Religious leaders from around Chicago spoke out. In other news this morning, authorities are confirming the remains found in a barrel last week in Lockport belonged to a Joliet woman who went missing earlier this month. No one hurt after a hospital was struck by gunfire on the northwest side. Officers were called to investigate yesterday at Community First Medical Center on West Addison after several bullets hit the east side of that building. A University of Illinois football player is suspended indefinitely after an arrest for domestic violence. University police arrested Larry Oladipo early Sunday after witnesses called police. Police say they found a woman with a small cut on her lip and took the Huntley resident into custody. He's due in court this morning. Bears beat the Jets 24-10 at Soldier Field. Oilers over the Blackhawks in overtime at the UC 2-1. Fire wrap up their season with a scoreless draw against D.C. United. Red Sox World Series champions after a 5-1 win over the Dodgers. And the Bulls host Steph Curry and Golden State tonight. The news is a service of Amazon, raising the bar on wages beginning November 1st. Pay starts at $15 an hour in the Chicago area. Learn more and apply online at Amazon.com/Chicago Jobs. Amazon's an equal opportunity employer. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, we're all the same when it comes to property taxes.
We're not going to be living in Illinois anymore, and it's due to the property taxes.
Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org. You stay. The politicians go. Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content.
Are you happy with what's looking back at you in the mirror? I'm Dr. Howard Cooper from Excellence in Dentistry, and we'd like to help you with that smile.
Whether you're looking to fix 1 or 2 teeth or a whole smile makeover, we can take care of all your dental needs. We have a beautiful modern facility and a great staff. And most importantly, we love what we do. That's what sets us apart from other offices. Let's face it, a dental office is not everyone's favorite place. Whether you're 2 or 102, we make it fun and enjoyable. We perform all types of dentistry as well. Fillings, root canals, crowns, extractions, dentures, implants. We do most everything right in our office. And for you denture wearers, we have a full in-house denture lab and can perform repairs and relines while you wait. We can also talk about adding implants so your denture will snap into place or become screw retained. This is the closest option to natural teeth. We are conveniently located in Gurnee at the corner of Washington and 21 in Saratoga Square. So make today the day you give us a call. 847-244-4000. That's 847-244-4000. Or visit us on the web at GurneeDDS.com. We look forward to seeing you, and remember, second opinions are always free. Excellence in dentistry, creating excellence one smile at a time.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank. Born and raised in Chicagoland, my partners and I knew this city needed a locally owned business bank. As fellow entrepreneurs, we know the challenges facing businesses, and we are invested in our customer success. We are here to build mutually beneficial, long-term, lasting relationships with our customers. We look forward to helping our customers reach their goals every day, and we are here to see them succeed. At Signature Bank, you work directly with decision makers who understand your business and can deliver on their promises.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
What is future you doing right now? You could be working for UPS as a part-time package handler, now hiring in Hodgkins. Plus, receive tuition assistance from the UPS Earn and Learn program. Apply now at upsjobs.com.
7:08. And a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
We're seeing big delays on inbound I-57 and the Bishop Ford Freeway due to the closure of the inbound line from 79th to the Skyway after a shooting. All traffic's forced off at 79th. I-57 delays start around 111th. It's 40 minutes sighting the merge. Bishop Ford 45. Eden's 26 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. Kennedy, 47 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, a little heavier in the express lanes. Eisenhower, 52 minutes, 390 to the Burn Circle, 37 from Manheim. Stevenson, a mess from the Tri-State before First Avenue to crash. Hour and 25 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Northbound Tri-State heavy, Southwest Highway to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Adams Tollway. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly sunny, high 55. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 43. Mostly cloudy tomorrow, a shower or a thunderstorm in spots for the morning, followed by periods of rain and a thunderstorm in the afternoon with a high 58. Rain mainly early tomorrow night, low 44. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
41 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Let me tell you something about the media, why people get so exercised about the D.C. press corps and the Chicago press corps. You just get sick of it. So Shia Kapos, who writes this Illinois-centric column for Politico, she posted a story, or one of her stories in her little rundown newsletter today, is about the papers I started. And she refers to Dan Proft's quote-unquote far-right media empire.
Is it worth $1 billion? What did she say?
What I just said.
That's what she... But did she pontificate on that?
She doesn't need to pontificate. Everything else she had to say is irrelevant. Far-right media empire. First of all, it's ignorant. It is not accurate. And it is the disparate treatment that people, including me, even though I've got armadillo skin, get sick and tired of. You want to understand why Trump calls the media the enemy of the people? You want to understand why people, including me, in the media in Chicago, feel like you are my enemy, is because you're engaged in the same sort of low-brow character assassination as the political class engages in with respect to each other or anybody in their way. Far right. Really. You want me to republish the story of the voting records of the Chicago press corps for you? 9-1 Democrats or Republican. Yeah. And I'm sorry, are the political leanings of other outlets attached to the reporting on them? Do you call Shia Kapos, others, the Sun-Times, the AFL-CIO Times, the far-left Sun-Times, the Sun-Times that does nothing but promote any Illinois Politico spouting cultural Marxist nonsense? Every single outlet has a political bent, and 90% plus of them are left. Is Crain's called the leftist business journal? That's what it is.
Of course it is.
I mean, it's a business magazine that endorsed J.B. Pritzker for governor. The business magazine that hates Chicago business. The Daily Herald, the Northwest Herald, the Springfield Journal-Register. Do you want me to go on?
But what your papers do, I mean, a lot of it, don't you do investigations of politicians, regardless if they're Republican or Democrat?
We do hyperlocal news,
yeah,
and we newsify data. That's what we do. That you don't get anywhere else.
Nope.
Am I conservative? Yeah, this just in, I'm conservative.
Are you?
I'm really hiding it.
Dan, you've had me fooled for 4 years now.
Is Chicago Tonight, the leftist Chicago Tonight? Wilmette talking to Winnetka? Is that the leftist WTTW? That's what it is in terms of bent.
PBS. It's.
You get tired of it, honestly. It doesn't mean that the exasperation should lead to anything other than calling it out and discourse, pointed discourse too, I think, so that it registers. And so the same with NBC News at the national level. How about this underreported story over the weekend from the moralizers at the network level and in the D.C. press corps? NBC and Time withheld stories that would have been damaging to Michael Avenatti during the
whole Kavanaugh event?
Yeah, the Kavanaugh
they
character
withheld
assassination.
Stories on Avenatti?
NBC News is under fire for sitting on information that would have cast serious doubt on wild claims about now Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh just when the unsubstantiated allegations were rocking the judge's confirmation to the high court. Brian Flood reporting in Fox News. By the way, this has been referred by Chuck Grassley to the Department of Justice for prosecution for perjury, Julie Swetnick, Michael Avenatti. Maybe they'll get together and she'll become Julie Avenatti. I don't know.
Who knows?
I hope so. I hope those two can find love. Controversial. So Avenatti claimed Kavanaugh took part in high school gang rapes, right?
Right.
Avenatti and Julie Swetnick both made this claim, and then she gave that sort of
stunning interview to Kate Snow on NBC News where she said it wasn't him, which she doesn't know.
She doesn't know, and she sort of undermined her own credibility. Avenatti connected NBC News with an anonymous woman he claimed would corroborate Swetnick's allegations.
Okay.
But she instead accused Avenatti of twisting her words. Despite what you could argue, certainly in the context for reporting, was exculpatory, NBC went with Swetnick's story about the gang rape claim without disclosing that the corroborating witness presented by her legal representation accused Avenatti of twisting her words.
Oh, my gosh.
NBC News spiked that aspect of the story to advance the Swetnick uncorroborated allegation. So you understand why people chant CNN sucks? I mean, this isn't CNN in this case, but, this is 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Well, CNN would have run it, but NBC got the exclusive.
They
did run
exactly.
it eventually, but it was leaked, and it started by NBC.
How many foundationless stories has CNN had to retract and apologize for? How many CNN reporters have been fired over the last 18 months by reporting unfounded hatchet jobs on Trump and, in the context of Russian collusion and any number of other matters? So you understand why, the press is under attack. It's not about us, but it's about us. You're not under attack. You're being exposed for being liars. You're being exposed for being unprofessional. You're being exposed for altering your standards based on who the target is. You're being exposed for the Democrat comm shop that you've always been, both here in Chicago as well as at the national level. And so those who read Politico and Shia Kapos throw her in with the rest.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Smartphones, smart cars, smart thermostats, smart security systems. It's like our everyday items are getting, smarter than us. Take your home to the next level with custom smart window coverings from 1-800-4BLIND-CHICAGO. With the touch of your finger on your smartphone or the sound of your voice with your Alexa device, you can create the right lighting and ambiance in every room. Give your home an easy and affordable makeover. 1-800-4BLIND-CHICAGO knows window coverings. They know blinds, shades, shutters, and precise installation. But they really know how to make your family home a comfortable place and for a lot less than you'd expect for custom window coverings. New blinds or shades can help with heat reduction, privacy, and make you fall in love with your home all over again. With an in-house installation crew, you can count on a personal touch and quality custom blinds with 1-800-4BLIND-CHICAGO. Connect directly at 1-800-4BLINDChicago.com.
Chicago homeowners, there's never been a better time to permanently fix your low water pressure, rusty water, and pipe leaks by repiping your home today. Repipe Specialist has been serving Chicago for many years, collectively repiping over 35,000 homes in their 25 years in business. They've built a reputation on offering the most efficient repipe process for seamless installation and customer convenience, repiping an entire home in just 1 to 2 days, patching your walls, and providing a lifetime guarantee. Repipe Specialist only uses the best repiping materials with USA Grade L copper or high-quality PEX pipes. For a limited time, take advantage of their most affordable offer. Right now, on approved credit, prices start as low as $99 per month. That's right, a quality home repipe, wall patching, a lifetime guarantee, and prices starting at just $99 per month. They'll provide a free in-home estimate explaining their process tailored for your home. So, call Repipe Specialist today for your free in-home estimate at 800-216-0130. That's 800-216-0130. 800-216-0130.
The players are fired up. The coaches are prepared for battle. The student section is rumbling. The band is ready to rock. And you you're ready for victory.
Touchdown, Northern Illinois!
Every game, every victory is right here on the Husky Sports Network.
It's the Huskies versus the Akron Zips this Thursday night at 6. Catch every minute of the action right here on AM 560, The Answer.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get a $79 furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
This stuff is the best stuff I've ever taken. I don't take any medicine. I take nothing. If I get a little scratchy throat or even a headache, I take the vegetables. It works very fast. Or I'm feeling like a little down, tired, I take 3 of them, 4 of them, and I'm right up back to where I was. It's unreal how this stuff works, and I rave about it. This guy's a genius when it comes down to it. If anyone's skeptical about taking something, I get it. There's thousands of products out there. Look, you can be confident in this because, the one thing that makes me really, really happy about is that you guys make the capsules out of a plant-based product. It's not crap. It's real food, like you would put on the dinner table.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Are you stuck in a bad home mortgage? Well, join the club that has about 10 million other American families. But I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest legal analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, I guarantee you'll never be alone in this country.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We want to thank all of those who attended Freedom Summit on Saturday. It was fun.
Yeah, we had a wonderful time, and we had our usual loyal listeners, but so many more came to Freedom Summit for the first time ever. Really enjoyed themselves. It was a day-long informational meeting, and it got a little hot and heavy during the media rumble with Noah Rothman and your guy Kurt Schlichter, and Joe Walsh was there, and Mike Gallagher, and you had a morning session with Heather McDonald that I heard went really well.
Heather McDonald was great. Good talk about the diversity delusion. That's the name of her new book, but essentially, culture from academia to entertainment to corporate America, the Me Too movement, a lot of topics covered. All of the interviews, Heather McDonald, Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark, as well as James O'Keefe, another featured speaker, Project Veritas.
Was fantastic.
They'll be at upstream-ideas.com this week. The Sheriff Clark one is already posted. But yeah, Heather McDonald was great. We also had a good breakout session on
Property
cops.
tax? Oh, on cops.
Well, we did a property taxes. We did a local one with Jeannie Ives and Ted Dabrowski from wirepoints.com, and then we did a one on policing with Heather McDonald and Raphael Mangual from the Manhattan Institute. That was good too. Joe Ahern from the 100 Club was there.
Oh, good.
Dean Angelo, former Chicago FOP boss, was there. So that was
we had a
that
lot
was
of
a really
big
good
names.
conversation.
It was a very busy day. You can learn a lot. And with James O'Keefe, what he did, he had a video presentation too. And I did not know that he's being sued by Jan Schakowsky's husband, and I can't say his name because it's disgusting.
Creamy Bob. Calamity
yes.
Jan Schakowsky's husband.
And he's suing him, which is insane. And he even said, I bet some of his people are here in the audience now listening to me.
O'Keefe also disclosed that, like the Claire McCaskill undercover reporting that he got done, Claire McCaskill saying one thing in public and another thing in private, her staffers the same, that he's got a couple of more senators that he's going to disclose that reporting before November 6th, so that could be impactful as his reporting, sort of guerrilla reporting, continues to be.
He said he's going to release something pretty much every day this week. And then also Sheriff David Clark, he just went over the Michael Brown Ferguson incident all over again and how the whole thing started. I think people forgot. He said it started because Michael Brown and his friends were walking in the middle of the street. And the street is for vehicles and the sidewalk is for people. Can you imagine if a car was driving down the sidewalk, you tell him to move to the street? And he said that's how the whole confrontation started, and that Michael Brown approached Darren Wilson and tried to take his weapon from him. And the whole hands up, don't shoot thing was just, false, fake news. So. And
he is also circling the country, flacking for Republican candidates for Congress. He was putting a lot of miles on as a spokesman for one of the pro-Trump super PACs. So that's what he's up to these days, if you didn't know.
Very nice.
He needs to get back to Wisconsin, too, because Walker is in a tough re-election fight. Leah Vukmir is an underdog in the Senate race there. So hopefully David Clark gets back to his home state and home turf to help those candidates as well. We had a lot of members of the military present, those who've served our country, so I wanted to offer up this feel-good story as well as a thank you for attending the Freedom Summit. That's going to make you proud to be an American. U.S. troops landed in Iceland last week ahead of the start of the largest NATO military exercise since the Cold War, and they left their mark on the nation's capital. Not since Reagan and Gorbachev has there been such a momentous occurrence at Reykjavik. A significant number of bars in downtown Reykjavik forced to make emergency beer runs under the onslaught of American sailors and Marines in town for the start of this military exercise. Local media estimate that 6,000 to 7,000 military personnel exhausted beer cellars across Reykjavik in the span of a single weekend. USA, USA, USA. Congratulations, men. If you have a loved one serving over in Reykjavik that can't hear this show, please do
send them
our regards and praise for that accomplishment. That is fantastic. That's why America is exceptional.
Exactly.
No other military could have performed
And real
that.
quickly, I had teased this about Governor Ronner attending President Trump's visit to Murfreesboro. Did you see the picture? He's in the crowd. President Trump didn't meet with him, didn't give him a shout out. And Ronner standing there in his leather. He had the Harley look because sometimes he has the wood shop look, but he had
all
look.
his flair on.
Yeah, and he realized that he wasn't going to be able to meet with him as he wanted to, and because Trump wouldn't or didn't have time in his schedule, and left before Trump took to the lectern.
Hoist by a lot of petards these days, is one former governor, Ryan.
Why would he put himself?
We need to talk. Do you know what this is about?
My flair?
Yeah.
Ronner's voice is higher
your
than I
lack of flair, because I'm counting and I only see 15 pieces. Let me ask you a question, Joanna. What do you think of a person who only does the bare minimum?
What do I think? You know what, Stan? If you want me to wear 37 pieces of flair like your pretty boy over there, Brian, why don't you just make the minimum 37 pieces of flair?
Well, I thought I remembered you saying that you wanted to express yourself.
Yeah, You know what? Yeah, I do. I do want to express myself. Okay? And I don't need 37 pieces of flair to do it. All right? There's my flair, okay? And this is me expressing myself, okay? There it is. I hate this job. I hate this goddamn job, and I don't need it.
All right, coming up at 7:37, Peter Roskam.
Escalated quickly.
I am somebody who believes, like Lou Holtz, that you need someone to believe in. The human realm, I think of Pope John Paul II. I think of Milton Friedman. Sean Casten thinks of Dan Savage.
Ew.
We'll get reaction from Peter Roskam in a hotly contested congressional race at 7:37.
But first, let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
40 degrees. Pittsburgh showing an outpouring of grief following a deadly shooting at a synagogue. Jeffrey Myers is the rabbi at the Tree of Life Synagogue, where 11 were killed Saturday. He delivered a powerful message yesterday in front of a crowd of about 2,000.
I thought to myself, the 23rd Psalm, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Well, God, I want. What I want, you can't give me. You can't return these 11 beautiful souls.
In addition to those who lost their lives, 6 others were hurt. Pittsburgh EMS Medical Director Dr. Lenny Weiss lives in the neighborhood. It was one of the first people on the scene.
I was actually in bed having worked late the night before, and I heard a lot of noise that I thought was construction and immediately recognized automatic gunfire. I heard yelling that was not recognizable as anything you'd hear in a neighborhood on a Saturday morning.
The special agent in charge of the FBI's investigation calls it one of the most horrific crime scenes he's seen in 22 years. Indonesian officials say 189 were on board a low-cost jetliner that crashed off the coast of that country. NBC's Kelly Kobiela says the plane was in trouble from takeoff.
Flight radar shows the American-made Boeing jet looped south, then headed north, climbing to 5,000 feet, losing altitude, climbing again, then dropping off screen.
The Lion Air flight went down shortly after taking off from Jakarta this morning. Some wreckage has already been found. Rescue crews are searching for survivors. One person wounded this morning following a shooting on the Dan Ryan Expressway. Express lanes were blocked for several hours while police investigated. No word on any arrests. Chicago police are investigating a drive-by shooting that killed one teen and wounded another on the south side. It happened in an alley near 62nd and Maplewood. A dog is dead, a woman in stable condition. They were attacked by another dog at a pet store on Chicago's southwest side. Company says the attack happened yesterday morning when a Mastiff broke free from its kennel. The woman was hospitalized with bites to her arm and right middle finger. Bears over the Jets, 24-10 at Soldier Field. Mitch Trubisky 2 scores through the air. Jordan Howard 1 on the ground. Connor McDavid lit the lamp 53 seconds into overtime, giving the Oilers a 2-1 victory over the Blackhawks. The Red Sox are your World Series champs, and the Bulls host Golden State tonight. The news service of Compassion International. Release a child from poverty when you become a Compassion sponsor. Choose your child now at compassion.com/radio and do your part to release a child from poverty today. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes the left has no limits.
Those who are kind to the cruel will be cruel to the kind. That is a motto of our dear fellow citizens of the left, because that's all it takes is a favorable word, a mere vote for Republican, and you're pro-rape. You understand how sick it has become? There are no moral limits to what they will do or say.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hey, where is Sleepin' Joe Donnelly? A whole caravan of illegal immigrants is headed towards the United States, and Donnelly is silent, not a peep. But in commercials, he pretends to be tough on the border. Ha! Donnelly voted for amnesty and endorsed open borders liberal Hillary Clinton for president.
Sleepy Joe.
Joe Donnelly isn't one of us anymore. He's one of them. Listen to Mike Braun.
Career politicians like Joe Donnelly will say anything to keep their jobs. The truth is, Donnelly voted against Judge Kavanaugh, for the Iran nuclear deal, and even backed Hillary Clinton for president. We deserve better. I spent my career in the real world, creating jobs and getting things done. In Washington, I'll fight to bring back good-paying jobs and fix our health care. I'm Mike Braun. I approve this message, and I ask for your vote.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Chicago homeowners, there's never been a better time to permanently fix your low water pressure, rusty water, and pipe leaks by repiping your home today. Repipe Specialist has been serving Chicago for many years, collectively repiping over 35,000 homes in their 25 years in business. They've built a reputation on offering the most efficient repipe process for seamless installation and customer convenience, repiping an entire home in just 1 to 2 days, patching your walls, and providing a lifetime guarantee. Repipe Specialist only uses the best repiping materials with USA Grade L copper or high-quality PEX pipes. For a limited time, take advantage of their most affordable offer. Right now, on approved credit, prices start as low as $99 per month. That's right, a quality home repipe, wall patching, a lifetime guarantee, and prices starting at just $99 per month. They'll provide a free in-home estimate explaining their process tailored for your home. So, call Repipe Specialist today for your free in-home estimate at 800-216-0130. That's 800-216-0130. 800-216-0130.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's Meghan Crane. A weekly conversation about top political issues ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Available on Apple Podcasts.
7:36. A check on the roads. Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center time. Here's Jim.
Metro reports delays up to 40 minutes on the Union Pacific West line due to switch problems near Geneva. The inbound Ryan has reopened 79th to the Skyway after an earlier shooting. Travel time on the Ryan is 34 minutes 95th to downtown. I-57, 31 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, much improved, 23. Eden's 20 minutes Lake Hook Junction, but outbound 35. Kennedy, 48 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 52. Eisenhower's 52 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 47. Stevenson, after a crash near First Avenue, an hour and 14 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Southbound Tri-State, heavy 120 to 137, 2E to the Adams Tollway, and Lawrence to Irving Park. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, sunshine and 55 today. Partly cloudy, 43 overnight, currently 40. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and President Trump is conspiring with the Florida bomber, and probably if Bill Maher's show would have been on a little bit later, he would have thrown in the synagogue shooter as well, Bill Maher, on Politically Incorrect. That's a riot.
I think what I saw this week is the President of the United States using a domestic terrorist attack to threaten the American media. Am I wrong about that? Because he tweeted, a very big part of the anger we see today in our society is caused by the purposely false and inaccurate reporting, blah, blah, blah. Mainstream media must clean up its act fast. That sounds like he's not condemning the bomber. It sounds to me like he's partnering with him.
Partnering with the bomber, President Trump, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. That's the sort of snidiness you expect from Bill Maher, but the position that he's articulating is not inconsistent with what you saw splashed across the pages of the Amazon Post this weekend, what you see and have seen for the last 5 days in chyrons on CNN, President Trump in Murfreesboro, scenic Southern Illinois this weekend. Mm-hmm. And he responded to both the political violence as well as the media's coverage of it.
Before going any further, I want to briefly address the packages and devices that have been mailed to a number of high-profile individuals. As you know, the suspect has been captured. Great job. And is now in federal custody. These terrorist actions must be prosecuted and punished to the fullest extent of the law. We all know that. And I want to applaud the FBI, the Secret Service, and all state, local, federal officials for their incredible work in this investigation. I mean, they did an incredible job. This is finding truly a needle in a haystack when you think about it. We love our police and we love our law enforcement. Political violence must never, ever be allowed in America, and I will do everything in my power to stop it.
And he should, I mean, FBI did an amazing job. They found a thumbprint on the package that he had sent to Kamala Harris out in Los Angeles. And since he was already in the system, because he's a thug and has been a bad guy for 25 plus years, they were able to find him through a cell phone because he didn't have a home because he lived in his van. And then they arrested him at the auto parts store.
President Trump on the media coverage of the Florida bomber.
In recent days, we've had a broader conversation about the tone and civility of our national dialogue. Everyone will benefit if we can end the politics of personal destruction. We must unify as a nation in peace, love, and in harmony. The media has a major role to play, whether they want to or not.
Yeah. And so how are they playing it to engender harmony?
The media's constant unfair coverage, deep hostility, and negative attacks, you know that, only serve to drive people apart and to undermine healthy debate. For example, we have seen an effort by the media in recent hours to use the sinister actions of one individual to score political points against me and the Republican Party. Yet when a Bernie Sanders supporter tried to murder congressional Republicans and severely wounded a great man named Steve Scalise and others, we did not use that heinous attempt at mass murder for political gain because that would have been wrong. It would have been the wrong thing to do.
Interestingly, serendipitously, Christian Nielsen, the Secretary for Department of Homeland Security, was on with Chris Wallace on Sunday. And Department of Homeland Security had made a site visit to Tree of Life Synagogue in March of this year. Part of these routine site visits they do in conjunction with local law enforcement to, I guess, sort of discuss best practices for keeping people safe in institutions that are targeted by, fringe racists, bigots out there, like Tree of Life obviously was by the man who murdered 11 people over the weekend. Here's Nielsen mentioning that.
Yes, as recently as March, we actually conducted a site visit there with our protective security advisor in the area. This is something we often do. We feel that the best way to help communities support their efforts in terms of protection is to be there on the ground, to listen to them, to understand their needs.
And I mentioned this before, mention it again, FBI crime stats. People being targeted just because of who they are, their race or their religion. From 2016, blacks, 4 of every 100,000. Hate crime rate per 100,000, quote-unquote hate crime rate per 100,000. 4 black, 7.9 Muslim, 12.1 Jewish.
Wow.
So just in terms of underreported targeting of Jewish people because they're Jewish, it's worth noting. And this, by the way, despite what Pittsburgh Mayor Bill Peduto said about not having armed guards at synagogues, just as we've had the discussion about schools. There are a lot of synagogues that do have armed
Oh,
personnel
yeah. And
because of this.
Right. And President Trump even brought up that maybe they should have armed guards in the future.
If they had protection inside, the results would have been far better. This is a dispute that will always exist, I suspect. But if they had some kind of a protection inside the temple, maybe it could have been a very much different situation.
It's unfortunate that you have to have that discussion, but it's certainly part of the discussion. The ADL, Anti-Defamation League, reporting something on the order of 2,000 anti-Semitic incidents that they have documented in just 2018, which is up 57% over this time in 2017.
And we should mention the 11 victims. I mean, one included a 97-year-old woman. Her name was Rose Mallinger. And according to her friends, she was still spry and had a lot of years left. There were 2 brothers, a married couple in their 80s. It's just heartbreaking what happened to them.
The Holocaust and the ugly times, and she made it through all that. These aren't the kinds of that are supposed to happen. You don't walk in there on Saturday morning and think you're not walking out.
And that was a relative of Rose Mallinger, the 97-year-old woman. It's just, and President Trump was very, I mean, you could tell he was so saddened by this attack. And just, you know, these people were at a baby naming ceremony.
Right.
To celebrate life. And they didn't get to go home.
Deborah in Arlington Heights, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I said, good morning, by the way, if this weren't so sad, it would be comical at this point. I cannot believe, and I've been around a long time, if this is unprecedented as to how blatantly biased and how damaging the media is, and people follow along like sheep. I am baffled that people are not smarter to be able to see through this. I do not understand it.
Thanks for the call, Deborah. I mean, and this is not anything new. Not anything new. The misidentification of the Aurora, Colorado theater shooter by Brian Ross, the accusation by professional liar, Obama political consigliere David Axelrod, after Gabby Giffords and others were shot, that it was the Tea Party who was responsible.
That made my head explode, by the way.
But you don't hear from the left today that the anti-Semitism that is afoot in this country is the responsibility of people who are supporters of BDS on campuses. You know, the boycott, divestment, sanction campaign against Israel. You don't hear people taking Louis Farrakhan to task. Of course you don't, from a media that otherwise elevates the likes of Louis Farrakhan. Linda Sarsour, the women's PHAT march organizer, also a virulent anti-Semite. Don't hear questions about her. You don't hear people asking about the climate that's created with respect to Jewish people by those people that have as much influence in many cases as any politician, at least within certain segments of the population. The standard shifts based on the target. That's the D.C. Press Corps protocol. John on Route 53, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, hey, I just want to say, I think this whole thing is kind of like a sham, man. Good morning, by the way, guys.
What's a sham?
I don't know. It just seems too, planned out. Who's
which?
actually sending George Soros a fake bomb in the mail?
Well, well, I mean, if you've read about this guy who's was arrested and will be arraigned today, somebody like that, that's who, I guess. Thanks for the call, John. I mean, this is not a respected member of the community that just went off the rails because he heard a Trump speech. This is a guy who has left a trail of bad acts and interesting career choices as well over the last 25 years when you're talking about the man arrested for the bombs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, grand theft auto, possession and the sale of crack cocaine, steroids, anabolic steroids.
Bomb threat to the power company in 2001 over his bill.
Yeah, they wanted to shut off his service because he wasn't paying his bill. And then his former attorney is saying he did this because he had daddy issues because his dad left him when he was young and he moved to the Philippines and his new daddy was Trump. I mean, it's just ridiculous stuff.
Bob in Buffalo Grove.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Great to see you guys on Saturday. Question for you. I was watching This Week with Stephanopoulos, and I think it was Matthew Dodd offered a statistic saying right-wing terrorism and shootings and killings is more pervasive, just more extensive than left-wing. And nobody bothered to challenge him, and I'm just wondering if that's really true, if it's all coming from the right, as Matthew Dodd said.
Well, not the Stephen Scalise shooter.
Thanks for the call,
Another
Bob.
middle-aged white male who was living in a van. He was a Bernie Sanders supporter. I mean, but it doesn't matter what their political affiliation is. These people are mentally ill.
Let me say something else.
Do this.
White supremacy is not right-wing. It's not. There's neo-Nazi, Nazis, socialists, right? National socialism, left-wing. Jonah Goldberg wrote a book about it. A Jewish gentleman wrote a book about fascism as left-wing because it is. Any authoritarian or totalitarian regime is left-wing because conservatives believe, number one, in free minds and free markets and a free society, number two, in subsidiarity. So they characterize these bigots like the Pittsburgh synagogue shooter, who, oh, by the way, among his social media rants, was critical of Trump for being so pro-Israel, called him a globalist as well, not in a flattering light either. They count those type of people as right-wing, or this guy in the van who sent the bombs, apparently, as right-wing. So let me ask you something. Think about it this way. Are you responsible for the same as anyone who votes like you do, whatever they do? You really want to go down that road? This is what I say, why the D.C. press corps is so illegitimate, because that's what they're implying with respect to conservatives, something, of course, they would never imply with respect to leftists if somebody voted for Ocasio-Cortez or somebody voted for Bernie Sanders and then is opening fire on a softball field and trying to assassinate Steve Scalise and other Republican members of Congress. It's so cheap. It's the demagoguery they complain about Trump. I mean, they're the practitioners of it.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The following is a paid announcement.
Now, Geiger Wealth brings you Retire with Confidence.
Thanks for joining us today, where once a week we get together to talk about retirement planning. Bill Geiger, welcome. I know that your firm focuses on working with couples in their late 50s to early 60s, preparing them to retire with confidence. So what exactly should they be doing differently at this stage of their lives?
Mike, if you're a couple in your late 50s to early 60s, you really have two big jobs to do right now. The first one is to make sure you don't have a big loss. This close to your retirement, if you think about it, Mike, at this stage of their life, most couples have more money than they've ever had before. And it kind of makes sense, right? And the last thing that they want at this stage of their life, this close to retirement, is to have a big loss, a 2008 type loss, for instance.
That could be devastating, Bill.
Absolutely, for obvious reasons, but also at this stage of your life, your second big job is you want to begin developing a source of dependable, sustainable income that you know how you're going to pay your bills for the rest of your life. And if you have that big loss, you may not have the monies available to set up that source of dependable, sustainable income. So the two big jobs that you have, to summarize, is one, protect what you have. Don't have a big loss. Number two, begin developing a dependable, sustainable income stream that you can count on for the rest of your life. So you know how you're going to pay your bills, you can keep from running out of money, and you can leave a legacy. That's retiring with confidence. Mike, I know you're going to talk about this in just a moment, but for the next 5 couples who call in today who have at least $500,000 in their retirement portfolio, we're going to do on a complimentary basis a full-blown retirement plan for them. We're going to work with them on how to set up a plan so they know how to protect what they have, so they know how to create a dependable, sustainable income stream, and so they know maybe for the first time ever have that confidence to know that they have a game plan to move themselves into retirement.
Bill, this is a fantastic opportunity because, folks, nothing can be more frustrating than working hard your entire life, saving as much as possible for retirement, then having no idea how you're going to make your life savings last 20 to 30 years or more. Bill and his team at Geiger Wealth can help. They're going to sit down with you personally to create a full-blown plan for your retirement. Folks, this is up to a $3,000 value. It's complimentary for the next 5 couples who have at least $500,000 saved for retirement. Call 800-681-2498. Again, that's 800-681-2498. Together with you, Bill and his team are going to sit down and translate the complex financial planning process into easy-to-understand steps with a roadmap to help you get to where you need to be. Call Geiger Wealth right now for your complimentary, personalized, full-blown retirement plan. 800-681-2498. That's 800-681-2498.
Geiger Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance offered through DeBlanco Inc.
Have you ever seen what really goes on in your caterer's or favorite restaurant's kitchen? What does the kitchen look like? How big is the operation? And maybe most importantly, who's cooking my meal? When you cater with Tasty Catering, you get more than quality food and event planning. You get an invitation to see what goes on throughout our entire building, including our kitchen. We call it our open kitchen door policy. Come see for yourself why we are so proud of what we do, and gain the peace of mind that comes with knowing the who's, the what's, the where's, and the how's of the way we prepare your food. Visit tastycatering.com for more information, or contact a Tasty Catering sales representative and set up a time to come meet with us at our home. You can't put a price on peace of mind, but if you had to, all it takes is one visit. Call 847-593-2000, 847-593-2000, or start your visit through our open doors at tastycatering.com.
Prepare for this upcoming season with Quantum Nutrition Lab's Immune Support, Garlic Complex, and Vitamin C. Buy 2, get the third one free. Call 888-588-7578 or visit us online at qnlabs.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Marshall, PhD, host of Healthline. Tune in and hear the latest breakthrough information for you and your family.
Join Dr. Bob Marshall for Healthline, Saturday morning at 10 on AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so what happened in that high school playoff game that Peyton was in?
Well, it was St. Francis Wheaton versus Amundsen.
Yeah.
By the way, the announcer in Wheaton kept calling it Amundsen. And we all yelled, "It's Amundsen!"
Nobody
and he'd
cared.
say, Amundsen. He couldn't get it right. But it didn't matter because we didn't score a lot. We actually scored exactly what you predicted, Dan. So your original prediction was 49-10. Then I told you, well, we don't have a punter. We just do 2-point conversions.
You
we
don't
have
have
a
a
kicker.
kicker.
Excuse
Yeah.
me.
Mhm.
And then you changed it. You said, all right, it'll be 49-6. And lo and behold,
What was the final score?
49-6.
Thank you very much.
But there was a minute 21 left in the fourth quarter. Interception by Amundsen. And he ran back 74 yards for a touchdown. And then I thought, oh, dear Lord, Dan is right. But it was great. It was great to go to a real school that we didn't have metal detectors and we could bring in water. And
Yeah, welcome to Wheaton.
it was
And,
and the Wheaton police were there.
Now you've been properly dispatched. 49-6, that is the score I called. 49-6, that was the score. So I deign it, so it shall be done. By the way, speaking of sports,
Yeah.
interesting television sports audience,
Yeah.
aging. Even soccer, the average age in 2016 is 40. All of these sports are going the way of the dodo bird because we have got a nation of gamers now. It's very
that's
disturbing.
right. And gamers are making a lot of money on their YouTube channels. One guy's making $500,000 a month. Ninja, you familiar with him?
No,
He
but I'm
tweeted
gonna
me
start
the
getting
other day.
familiar with it.
He retweeted. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Peter Schweitzer, the author of Clinton Cash and Secret Empires, joins us at 8:08.
But first, here's Mike Scott.
One wounded in a shooting on the Dan Ryan. WIND Chicago News Time 8.
A court appearance today. The death penalty maybe later. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's Robert Bowers' future, the accused gunman in Saturday's synagogue shooting spree. That was at a vigil last night in Pittsburgh for the 11 people murdered. 6 others were wounded.
It was early Saturday morning that 46-year-old Robert Bowers, authorities say, entered that building and killed 11 people. He entered with 3 handguns and an AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle. They say he used all 4 weapons in his rampage. An FBI affidavit quotes Bowers during his gunfight with police saying, "They are committing genocide to my people. I just want to kill Jews."
Fox's David Lee Miller outside the synagogue in Pittsburgh. A student shot another student this morning at a high school in Matthews, North Carolina, near Charlotte. The victim's at a hospital. How badly hurt, we don't know. The shooter is in custody. Caesar Sayoc goes to court today in Miami, the man accused of mailing 14 pipe bombs to prominent Democrats. President Trump's critics keep saying his rhetoric is dividing people. But the president just tweeted the fake news media, which he again called the enemy of the people, is causing some of the anger and the outrage. A big night in Boston. Celebrating yet another championship after the Red Sox won the World Series, beating the Dodgers in Game 5. Fox's Jared Max was there, now joins us live from L.A.
Dave, 2004, 07, 2013, 2018. 4 titles since 2004. The 21st Century Sox, a baseball dynasty. Boston beat L.A. 5-1 last night. Win the series in 5 games. Red Sox set the tone with 2 runs in the first inning on a home run by series MVP Steve Pearce, who later went deep in the 8th. Boston a perfect 10-0 this postseason when scoring first. Starting pitcher David Price, 7 innings, only 3 hits allowed. Red Sox joined the Yankees, Cardinals, and Athletics as the only franchises to win 9 World Series. Dave?
And Jared, for the Dodgers, it's the second year in a row they lost the World Series. This is Fox News.
Sun and clouds this morning at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer, it is 40 degrees. Chicago coming off a violent weekend. Sun-Times is reporting over 40 people were shot in the city over the weekend. Chicago police confirmed that 5 of those victims died. Gun violence surpassed the same period last year when 2 were killed and 28 were wounded in shootings. A person wounded in a shooting on the Dan Ryan Expressway here in Chicago this morning. The victim shot in the leg while riding a vehicle near Marquette Road. All express lanes were blocked for quite some time. Police continue to investigate. There's no word of any arrests. Chicago police are investigating a drive-by shooting that killed 1 teen and wounded another. A 16-year-old boy and a 19-year-old man were shot walking through an alley near 62nd and Maplewood yesterday. State public health officials say they've identified a cluster of Legionnaire's disease in Chicago. The department says the Chicago cluster involves 2 residents at the Warren Barr South Loop nursing home. Mitchell Trubisky threw for 220 yards and 2 scores. Bears beat the Jets 24-10 at Soldier Field. Bears head coach Matt Nagy, though, is worried about the injury to offensive lineman Kyle Long.
He's been unbelievable in the team meetings. He's been unbelievable as a leader for that offensive line. And so I'm very happy with how he's been playing, and we just keep our fingers crossed that everything's okay.
The Bears on the road at Buffalo Sunday. Oilers over the Blackhawks in OT 2-1. And the Bulls host the 2-time defending NBA champion Golden State Warriors later on tonight. It's 8:03. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network. Friday ended a roller coaster week on Wall Street. Despite numbers that showed strong economic growth, earnings were mixed. Microsoft passed Amazon to become the second most valuable company in the U.S. Both still trail Apple. First Data reporting earnings before U.S. markets opened this morning. The company's stock falling more than 9% after it said it will make less profit this year than analysts expected. IBM buying software company Red Hat in a $34 billion deal. Red Hat distributes Linux. IBM's agreement to buy Red Hat is the company's attempt to catch up in the cloud with companies like Amazon and Microsoft. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Carol Zimmer.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The world is a dangerous place. Often, it's a very ugly place, and you come here to try to help make sense of it all. We give you the latest news, help you understand what it means and why it's important. But there are bigger questions you need answered about life and death, faith and hope. And that's where our sister station, AM 1160, Hope for Your Life, comes in. When you're looking for answers to life's biggest questions, give them a listen at AM 1160 or online at 1160hope.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, we're all the same when it comes to property taxes.
We're not going to be living in Illinois anymore, and it's due to the property tax.
Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org. You stay. The politicians go. Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content.
What do you hear? Most people just hear an engine. We hear a 6.2-liter Hemi V8 with a supercharger that accelerates so fast, it'll suck the air out of your lungs and knock you back in your seat like you're an astronaut in a rocket ship hurtling through the stratosphere. But then again, we're not most people. We're the Brotherhood of Muscle. Dodge. Domestic, not domesticated. Dodge is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
This is a court-ordered notice. Current and former Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury owners or lessees can receive payments and other benefits from a legal settlement related to allegedly defective Takata airbags in their vehicles. To see if your vehicle is included and to file a claim, go to autoairbagsettlement.com or call 1-888-735-5596. That's autoairbagsettlement.com or 1-888-735-5596.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chris Veldman of ServiceMaster DSI, the largest ServiceMaster franchise in the United States and a customer of Signature Bank. In our business, we respond to disaster, and we never know when disaster will strike, whether it's flooding in Louisiana or a house fire in Chicago. Not all banks understand that need for flexibility, but Signature Bank does. That's why we consider them so much more than a bank. They have been our business partner since 2006, when their three co-founders, Mick, Kevin, and Brian, started the bank. Signature Bank is a key part of our growth strategy at ServiceMaster DSI.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
8:09 and a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Metra trains on the Union Pacific West line have delays up to 40 minutes, switching issues near Geneva. The inbound line is open again near Marquette after an early morning shooting. Delays are pretty routine now. Emerge Skyway, 59th Circle, 39 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford, 16. Traffic cleared up well. Southbound Tri-State is heavy, 120 to 137, 176 to Lake Forest Oasis, and Dempster before the Adams Tollway. Northbound Southwest Highway 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Adams Tollway. Kennedy, 44 minutes O'Hare to downtown. The Ike, 58 minutes, 3:55 to drive. Stevenson, an hour 13, 3:55. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Turning out to have a mostly sunny day for today with a high 55, then tonight becoming partly cloudy, a low 43. Tomorrow will be a mostly cloudy day. We'll have a shower or thunderstorm in a few spots in the morning, rain in the afternoon, high 58. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
41 at O'Hare, 42 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering. Companies serious about a successful event choose Tasty Catering. Planning begins at tastycatering.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Former President Obama in Milwaukee this weekend, campaigning for Democrats up there, railing against Walker, railing against Bukmir, and of course railing against Trump.
Politicians just blatantly, repeatedly, baldly, shamelessly lying, making stuff up, calling up down, calling black white. That's what your governor's doing with these ads, just making stuff up. What he's saying is not true.
Yeah, calling black white, calling Elizabeth Warren a Native American, all kinds of lies out there.
He never did that during his campaign.
No,
Please, come on. The hypocrisy was running thick.
It's so boring, isn't it? I just go back to Kevin Williamson's great piece in National Review this morning. You have to check out. Rage makes you stupid. And he just talks about how, more often than not, he doesn't get enraged by politics. He's bored by it. And that's the banality of Barack Obama. But there's something interesting about all these politicos that binds them together. And our next guest, Peter Schweitzer, has done more work on this score than just about anybody in the last couple of years. He's, of course, the author of Clinton Cash, and which was a celebrated book during the 2016 campaign because it allowed the D.C. or provided so much material for the D.C. press corps to inquire after. Not that they were so interested to do so, but at least it provided a lot of information for the public to consume and distill and discuss. But Secret Empires is even better because it covers more political ruling class families. And I wanted to get Peter Schweitzer's insights and backstories back out into our audience in advance of the November 6th election. So, Peter Schweitzer, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, it's great to be back. Thanks so much for having me.
Speaking of former President Obama, since he's still so influential in the Midwest and Chicago, it's out on the campaign trail. In Secret Empires, there's this story I know that's out there, but I don't think it's gotten the attention that it deserves, not near the attention it deserves. And it's about not just Obama enriching himself as a result of being an elected official, but enriching all of those around him. And the specific example I point to is the pump and dump of Phoenix University stock. Could you provide that story for us?
Sure. Yeah, we call it smash and grab. Pump and dump works as well. And smash and grab is really a destructive form of crony capitalism and corruption that the Obama administration perfected. And basically what it means is, you go in and you smash a company using the power of the federal government. And then the stock price of that company goes to pennies on the dollar. And then your friends swoop in to buy it very cheap. And then the sort of regulatory weight is lifted. And with the case of the University of Phoenix, it's very, very clear cut. And it involves a guy who is Barack Obama's best friend, somebody that a lot of people have never heard of, named Marty Nesbitt. Barack Obama says that this is his best friend. And essentially what happens is the Obama administration, said that for-profit colleges were bad, the University of Phoenix being the most famous one. And they decided that they were going to, sort of put things on hold. So the University of Phoenix was told by the Obama administration that they were going to suspend GI Bill dollars that soldiers could use to get an education. That they were not going to be able to use those federal dollars at the University of Phoenix. Well, the University of Phoenix's stock price, as you can imagine, went from about $100 a share down to about $10 a share. So just devastated the company because this is billions of dollars of revenue. At which point, Barack Obama's friend Marty Nesbitt kind of raises his hand and says, I'll buy the company. So he comes in and buys the company. Shortly after he buys the company, suddenly the Obama administration has a change of heart and says, no, we will now allow GI Bill dollars to go to the University of Phoenix, thereby boosting the valuation of that company. So it was an enormous enrichment scheme. That's one case. There are numerous other cases involving other industries that were smashed. The coal industry, for example. He famously declared war on coal, driving down the valuations of those companies. Those company stocks became cheap, and a cluster of Obama friends, including George Soros, swept in and bought those companies for pennies on the dollar. And, there's no question how the money flowed, but it's, I think, one of the most underreported stories of the Obama administration. And when he says, nobody in my administration was indicted, that's not really the point, right? It's not just what you get away with avoiding prosecution for. It's a question of what you actually did and the policies that you engaged in to enrich yourself and your friends.
Well, your book was so powerful. So many details, so many different stories. When you hear that Hillary Clinton might possibly run for office in 2020,
please.
Do you think some of these stories will come out more, that people will start investigating and read the book?
Well, I think I certainly hope so. I certainly hope people will look at it. I mean, look, any debate about the Clintons and self-enriching with the Clinton Foundation has basically been resolved, not by me, not by anybody else, but by the Clinton Foundation itself. Because one of the things that came out of those Podesta emails, if you remember, that were leaked, and this is also obviously overlooked, is that the Clinton Foundation, actually at Chelsea Clinton's behest, did an internal review a few years ago about ethical guidelines in the conduct of the Clinton Foundation. And they hired a very prominent law firm named Simpson Thacher to do that internal review. Well, in the Podesta emails that got leaked, that report was attached. And when you read that report, it's absolutely devastating about the corruption within the Clinton Foundation itself. So, any debate about was it corrupt, was it just coincidence that this money flowed, has really been settled by the internal review the Clinton Foundation itself did, where it was determined that big donors were expecting and receiving quid pro quos from the Clinton Foundation and from Hillary Clinton while she was Secretary of State. It's that explicit, and they did nothing to change those policies. So, if she does run, I think it's going to become an issue again. I don't get the sense that there's a lot of enthusiasm, even within the Democratic Party, for Hillary Clinton running. But look.
There doesn't need to be in a field of 20 candidates, right?
Well, that's exactly right. It's I think, going to be a free-for-all on the Democratic side. But you've got a new generation, too, that's coming up, people like Kamala Harris, for example, that I think are going to say, look, it's time for you to move on. There's a new generation here.
I wonder how she'll take that.
One of the older generation types, who's also an aspirant, Joe Biden, and Joe Biden's son is featured prominently in Secret Empires, too, working in conjunction with another Democrat from that generation, the family of John Kerry. Boy, Secretary of State, another Secretary of State, perhaps leveraging influence in addition to, of course, the Vice President of the United States. The story of how Joe Biden's son made a bunch of money overseas.
Yeah, I mean, look, Joe Biden has been in politics for a long time, and he proudly says that he's lunch bucket Joe. He doesn't have much money, but what he's really done is he's set his son up very well. A son that really has no background in any of the areas that he makes the money. His reason for making the money is that his father's vice president. And as I lay out in the book Secret Empires, in December of 2013, the vice president, Joe Biden, flies to Beijing, China on Air Force Two to meet with Chinese officials on a variety of very sensitive issues. And on that plane with him is his son, Hunter Biden. And they're there for 3 days. We don't know what Hunter was doing. We find out 10 days later. But during that visit, Joe Biden is discussing all sorts of sensitive issues with the Chinese and kind of gets accused for rolling over and not challenging them on anything. 10 days after they return, this small company that Hunter Biden has called Rosemont Seneca Partners, who one of the investors is the son of Secretary of State John Kerry, they land a $1.5 billion, that's with a B, billion-dollar private equity deal with the Chinese government, not with a Chinese company, not with an American company in China, with the Chinese government. It's probably the biggest payoff scandal that I've ever seen in American politics in terms of the amount of money. And keep in mind, Hunter Biden has no background in private equity, which is what this deal was supposed to be about, and he has no background in China. In short, he has no reason to be getting this deal other than his father is the vice president and the Chinese are trying to, let's say, persuade him to see things his way.
It's so great. It's so great. We have this at the local level with the outgoing mayor, Tiny Dancer, who had no background in investment banking. After he leaves Congress, he goes to Wasserstein Perella. He introduces Bruce Rauner to Bill Daley, and he makes $19 million over about 2 years. So the same sort of thing is like relationships that already exist. I just put you two together, use the power of my relationships and/or office, and I take my cut, or in this case, like you say, you got to have one step removed. So it's the sons of Joe Biden and John Kerry. I mean, it's remarkable, and nobody knows these stories other than people who've read your book.
Yeah, I mean, it's look, these are the secrets of how Washington D.C. really works, and when if you ask Joe Biden about this, he doesn't deny that his son got the deal. He just says that his son got the deal based on his merits.
Of course.
Which is just laughable. It's just laughable. I mean, nothing against Hunter Biden personally, but no other investment firm, Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, even the private ones, none of them got the deal that the son of the vice president got with this small investment firm that has really no background in China whatsoever. And it doesn't end in China. I mean, the other place that he gets a sweetheart deal is in the Ukraine, where a very corrupt oligarch named Kolomoisky sets up Hunter Biden with huge amounts of money. And Kolomoisky is the most notorious of the corrupt Ukrainian oligarchs. And look, if you're the most notorious oligarch in Ukraine, that's really saying something.
But we're only interested in Paul Manafort's dealings in that part of the world.
Well, that's exactly right. And I think that's what frustrates a lot of people about these ethical issues. I'd say you throw the book at Paul Manafort for whatever he did, whatever crimes were committed, but you ought to throw the book at everybody who does that. And there's just a lack of consistency and, frankly, a lack of interest by at least certain people in the media to look at it. They only want to look at very specific areas and frame these issues in very specific ways, and that's just very frustrating.
With respect to the Clinton Foundation, because, of course, one of the ways to understand or to sort of prove up logically that this was nothing other than influence peddling with respect to all the money that the Clinton Foundation was getting from foreign governments and the speaking fees Hillary and Bill were generating while she was Secretary of State for him, and then while she, in her run-up to be President of the United States, same thing. It's just to look at the 990s for the foundation and see how the money has changed in terms of contributions and speaking fees since she lost the 2016 election. And I wonder if you've gotten to that at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a hugely important point. First thing to know is that there's the Clinton Foundation, and they have had an offshoot called the Clinton Global Initiative.
Right.
After she lost the nomination for the Democratic Party, they actually closed the Clinton Global Initiative. And I think the reason they closed it is, frankly, the money dried up. and there's clear evidence of that. We know that the Clinton Foundation donations are down approximately by 50%, at least is what some estimates are showing. And we also know that based on the public record, the speaking fee numbers are way down. I think part of the reason you've got this a sort of tour that Bill and Hillary are trying to put together, these chats where they sit in front of 1,000 people who are paying, in some cases $350 a piece to hear Bill and Hillary pontificate. Part of the reason they're going to that model is they are getting less and less interest. And we know that Hillary used to get $200,000 to $250,000 for a speech. That's now down to $25,000. So look, the numbers have dropped dramatically.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, this is great work. Again, Clinton Cash.
You don't even have hair and makeup for.
You got to read Secret Empire. Secret Empire is how our politicians hide corruption and enrich their family and friends. I mean, there's story after story, including on the dailies in Chicago, which we don't have time for today. So read the book. Clinton Cash, Secret Empires, the author Peter Schweitzer. Peter, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
So, we keep learning more about Joe Donnelly's outsourcing family business and about Donnelly's attempts to deceive us. We already knew Donnelly's family business outsourced jobs to Mexico. Mexican workers were paid just $3 an hour, while Donnelly pocketed tens of thousands. Then Donnelly claimed,
I haven't worked there in over 20 years.
But Donnelly's own financial disclosures reveal he profited from the business just 2 years ago. Now, newspapers report Donnelly's family business didn't only outsource jobs to Mexico, it also imported products from China. 120,000 pounds of Chinese shipments, outsourcing to Mexico, importing from China, and Donnelly trying to deceive Hoosiers. Joe Donnelly, hypocritical, dishonest politician. It's time to fire dishonest Donnelly. Senate Leadership Fund, paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
It is one of a kind. Since 1884, St. John's Northwestern Military Academy is developing the minds and shaping the character of young men and women from around the country and around the world, many of whom have gone on to achieve great success. Their alumni include heads of state, key business leaders, professional athletes, accomplished artists, statesmen, and politicians, and a variety of others who have made important contributions to a broad spectrum of society. It is located in Lake County region of southwest Wisconsin, just outside of Milwaukee. There is ongoing enrollment for your middle school and high school kids, boys and now young girls can attend St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. It, again, is a place where leaders are made, but I've been there. I've met the school administrators. I've seen some of the young cadets. I've met them personally. It is impressive. It's a place where you can grow from a boy into a man, from a girl into a woman. And they will be there all the time to answer any of your questions if you call their phone number. And you can even go up there for a visit to see for yourself the wonderful opportunities that await your son or daughter at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. The number to call is 800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET. Or simply visit their website. It's sjnma.org, sjnma.org.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare contracts, and in the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. I guarantee if we can't cancel your timeshare contract, you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100. 800-290-7100.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I'm definitely feeling better because now that I'm feeling better, I have more energy to be able to do more things. Before I couldn't, I was in severe pain with my back and I really couldn't function without taking an ibuprofen. And I haven't had to do that.
The first day energy level was up by about 30%. Stamina was probably up 40%. Alertness was probably 20-25%. Afternoons, I'd get groggy, doggy. Just in 2 days, that is gone.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
My Pittsburgh Steelers, class organization. You saw what they did with their helmets this weekend?
Yeah, they changed the gold star on their helmets to the Star of David.
Yeah, stronger than hate, the inscription. We'll talk to a New York City police detective, Thomas Ruskin, about the investigations into both the bomber as well as the synagogue assassin at 8:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom, check in with headlines here at home and around the world. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We have 41 degrees. Pittsburgh area synagogues are rallying together, and the synagogue where 11 were murdered will eventually hold services again, they say. That's a promise being made this morning by Rabbi Jeffrey Myers.
We will rebuild because we're a tree of life. We've been here 154 years, and you can cut off some branches, but the tree will continue to grow, and we will be back.
Authorities say the accused shooter, Robert Bowers, entered the synagogue early Saturday, made anti-Semitic remarks, and then opened fire. In addition to those killed, 6 others were wounded, including 4 police officers. Mail-bombing suspect Cesar Sayoc will appear in a Miami federal courtroom today for a hearing. Sayoc is accused of sending pipe bombs to several high-profile individuals who have been critical of President Trump. Reporter Kerry Sanders says Sayoc was no stranger to law enforcement.
Sayoc, whose extensive criminal history includes pleading guilty in 2002 to making a bomb threat, as well as other cases of grand larceny, fraud, and possession of a controlled substance.
Sayoc allegedly mailed those bombs from Florida, but eventually will be prosecuted in the Southern District of New York. Chicago coming off another extremely violent weekend. 40 people were shot in the city over the weekend. At least 5 of those victims died. 1 person wounded following a shooting early this morning on the Dan Ryan Expressway. Blocked all lanes for quite some time. Authorities are confirming the remains found in a barrel last week in Lockport belonged to a Joliet woman who went missing earlier this month. Ashley Tucker disappeared after leaving a party at her father's house on October 13. Chicago aldermen are set to vote this week on a plan to modernize Union Station. Mayor Emanuel says the proposed redevelopment of the 93-year-old station is an investment in job growth. Bears beat the Jets 24-10 at Soldier Field. Oilers over the Blackhawks in overtime, 2-1 at the UC. And the Bulls are hosting the 2-time defending NBA champion Golden State Warriors tonight. The news service of UPSJobs.com. What is future you doing right now? Well, you could be working for UPS as a part-time package handler. Now hiring in Hodgkins. Plus, receive tuition assistance from the UPS Earn and Learn program. Apply now at UPSJobs.com. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager sees the media focused on the wrong story. Again.
I actually turned the news off this morning in my hotel room. It is, of course, about various non-functioning bombs that were found. I don't think it's worthy of round-the-hour coverage. In terms of news, it's largely a waste of time if there's nothing important to be learned.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Hey, where is Sleepin' Joe Donnelly? A whole caravan of illegal immigrants is headed towards the United States, and Donnelly is silent, not a peep. But in commercials, he pretends to be tough on the border. Ha! Donnelly voted for amnesty and endorsed open borders liberal Hillary Clinton for president.
Sleepy Joe.
Joe Donnelly isn't one of us anymore. He's one of them. Listen to Mike Braun.
Career politicians like Joe Donnelly will say anything to keep their jobs. The truth is, Donnelly voted against Judge Kavanaugh, for the Iran nuclear deal, and even backed Hillary Clinton for president. We deserve better. I spent my career in the real world, creating jobs and getting things done. In Washington, I'll fight to bring back good-paying jobs and fix our health care. I'm Mike Braun. I approve this message, and I ask for your vote.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
What do you hear? Most people just hear an engine. We hear a 6.2-liter Hemi V8 with a supercharger that accelerates so fast, it'll suck the air out of your lungs and knock you back in your seat like you're an astronaut in a rocket ship hurtling through the stratosphere. But then again, we're not most people. We're the Brotherhood of Muscle. Dodge. Domestic, not domesticated. Dodge is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
This is a court-ordered notice. Current and former Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury owners or lessees can receive payments and other benefits from a legal settlement related to allegedly defective Takata airbags in their vehicles. To see if your vehicle is included and to file a claim, go to AutoAirbagSettlement.com or call 1-888-735-5596. That's AutoAirbagSettlement.com or 1-888-735-5596.
8:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Inbound Kennedy delays start at Irving Park. It's 43 minutes O'Hare to downtown, but heavier in the express lanes. Outbound 44 minutes. Eden's 19 minutes like Cook Junction. Outbound 33. Eisenhower 58 minutes, 390 to downtown. 42 from Manheim. Outbound an hour to 390. Stevenson an hour and 13 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound 38 minutes. Defiant 43 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 okay. Bishop Ford, just a 5-minute delay approaching Stony Island. Southbound Tri-State, it's slow 137 to the Lake Forest Oasis. Balmoral to Irving Park. Northbound 95th to 31st. Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Gulf to Lake Avenue. Heavy on the eastbound Reagan Tollway. Going to Naperville and 355 to before Highland. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, sunny and 55 today, partly cloudy and 43 overnight. A little cloudy right now, 41 outside. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Well, with the politically inspired violence, in addition to the caravan making its way to the border, law enforcement is back front and center in advance of the midterm elections. And it's playing a key role, part of a substantial debate, difference of opinion in important races like, say, the Florida governor's race. Andrew Gillum, the Democrat candidate there in a hotly contested race with Congressman Ron DeSantis, had this to say on a blog talk radio show this week that's now become sort of front and center in the Florida governor's race. This on police, Andrew Gillum on police. The mayor of Tallahassee, which has one of the higher
crime rates,
per capita murder rates in Florida.
Anti-police? No. I'm for police accountability. But look, law enforcement society cannot work. And quite frankly, law enforcement can't do its job if it does not have a trusting relationship with the community. At the time that a law enforcement official has to go to a weapon, to a gun, to a baton, to a taser, then they have already have to go too far. By their very presence, by the very trust that they inspire in community and in society, they're supposed to be able to bring most situations to heel.
So the issue with what he said is not that police need a trust relationship with the populace they protect and serve. Of course, that's true.
Right. No,
The issue is when they go to their taser or gun, they've already failed. Did they fail in Pittsburgh when they shot the man who murdered 11 people at that synagogue? Was that a failure? Wayne Ivey, who's the Brevard County Sheriff down in Florida, reacting to Andrew Gillum's statement.
And as such, his comments about law enforcement officers and those that wear our badge, they're a disgrace. They're disgusting. The men and women of law enforcement put their lives on the line every day to protect themselves, our citizens. And for him to say that if they go and take a tool off their belt to protect themselves or one of our community, they've gone too far. I personally think it's him going too far with his anti-cop rhetoric and his anti-cop mentality. And you don't have to look too far to see where that's gotten the people in Tallahassee and certainly where it would bleed over into the state.
For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Thomas Ruskin, a New York City police detective, president of the CMP Protective and Investigative Group. Thomas, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Just before we get into the particulars of law enforcement response to both the Florida bomber, as well as the Pittsburgh synagogue shooter, your reaction to what Gillum had to say and the reaction coming from certain quarters of law enforcement?
Well, I agree with the sheriff. I think that, cops are trained of how to protect themselves and the public. And when they have to go to one of the tools on their tool belt, it means that the situation, for one reason or another, has escalated to that point. I'm not going to pull out a taser if someone's shooting at me. I'm going to pull out my gun or go to my car and get an automatic weapon that I'm issued by the department to protect myself and other people. If I'm running into a temple because there's a mass shooting or an active shooter situation, I'm going to be taking the most extensive weapon that I have on my tool belt or in my car to protect myself and to stop that person from injuring or killing anyone else.
And then when it came to the synagogue shooting, we should mention that 4 police officers were also shot responding. Do you know how ultimately he was taken down?
He was taken down because those police officers, those brave officers who ran into danger, some of them only with a 9mm gun when he had a semi-automatic AR-15, were shot, but also were able to shoot him numerous times.
I wanted to get your reaction to something else, because this is really a technical matter, so you need sort of an expert in this space to help us distill it. The report is that armed officers didn't enter the synagogue for at least 30 minutes. And there's some suggestion that one of the things that's a legitimate topic of discussion is that different localities have different policies about first responders entering premises with or without SWAT teams. And so I just wonder, New York City probably has one protocol you're familiar with, Pittsburgh may have another, and I just wonder what the thinking is and if there is some standardization across this particular issue.
It's a very, very good question. So the standardization across all law enforcement agencies now, and this came out of Columbine years and years ago, is that officers used to wait before going in. Now, whereas I haven't heard that report out of Pittsburgh, it's my understanding that officers followed the new protocol, which is the active shooter protocol, which means that they go in. So if you're there by yourself or you have other units responding, you go in immediately to try and confront that active shooter. They felt in studies and critiques after shootings that that is the best way to possibly stop or eliminate the threat to people who may be in danger.
And I suspect that what happened in Parkland with the school resource officer on premises probably informed some of the response going forward, too, to situations like that.
Well, as you bring up the Parkland officer who may have stayed outside and not gone in, and there seemed to be video of him standing outside, that's why he ultimately was fired, because he didn't follow the protocols of going in. He was the officer who was assigned to that school to protect that school. If you don't have that officer going in and confronting that, in this case, that kid gunman, then you really have lost the reason that you have those protocols. Other officers who responded went right in, even with their 9 millimeters. Now, a 9 millimeter is vastly outgunned if the person has an AR-15 or a shotgun.
Yeah.
But they feel that confronting that person will stop him or her from shooting other people.
Back to the Pittsburgh, the shooting at the synagogue. President Trump had suggested armed guards might have helped stop that shooter. Do you think certain synagogues, certain schools should have armed guards at the door?
Well, we come down to dollars and cents, and I don't care if it's a synagogue or any other house of worship. Sometimes funding for that type of security is hard to come by, and it's very good if you can afford it, but if you can't afford it, then it's just one of those things that you have to rely on the police department. In this case, they didn't have an armed guard, and their armed guard could have been the first to have been shot, but they didn't have an armed guard, and the police did respond and responded. I haven't heard anything about them waiting outside. It's my understanding that they did confront the gunman. The 911 tapes that I heard were of the police saying that they're under fire in front, that the gunman has come out and confronted them, and it stopped him from going through the school. So I haven't heard anything about the cops not going in for 30 minutes.
Okay. I wanted to get your take on something that was a piece of both cases, the bomber as well as the shooter, social media. In the case of the Florida bomber, he had made threats on social media. One local official apparently had reported him for making a threat against her. And then, of course, we have become familiar with the rants against the Jewish people by the shooter in the synagogue in Pittsburgh. And I just wonder how much social media factors into police investigations these days, and what, if anything, more can be done for response to threats that are made. Because I as you mentioned, a dollars and cents issue. Well, this is a dollars and cents issue too. I mean, the police can't track down every offhanded comment that's made on Twitter or Facebook or wherever, and so just how the police conceive of that whole new area of policing to some extent.
Well, police departments are having specialized units monitoring different social media outlets. In the case of Bowers, he was on a social media thing called Gab, and it was gabbing about his anti-Semitism views. Police also depend very much on the public, and someone making a call saying, it's very good that this guy's ranting, but it seems to be getting extreme, and maybe it's something you should look at. I doubt that happened in this case, unfortunately, because it potentially could have stopped this shooting. But that's what police depend on. Not only do they monitor it themselves as much as they can and their resources allow, as you alluded to, but they also depend on that telephone call and the old saying, if you see something, say something.
Going forward, as we have these discussions, it seems like we come back to the same place. Bill Peduto, the mayor of Pittsburgh, on Meet the Press, talked about the need for gun control. The increased incidence, I think, at least perception-wise, of these mass shooting events, although, again, during the Obama years, and I'm not ascribing blame, I'm just comparing time periods, we had 14 mass shootings during President Obama's tenure, too. So I'm not sure the politician in the White House is so that there's a particular nexus to this kind of violence, whatever inspires it, hate or politics or some combination of the two. So how do you address the calls for, more government oversight of social media, more regulation of guns as the means to help the police do their job? Are those helpful discussions to have, or are they sort of missing the mark?
I think that they're very helpful discussions. I think that we have to look at licensing and potentially, if someone is becoming emotionally disturbed, how do we judge that person moving forward? But relative to the rhetoric, it's very important that our elected leaders, the people that we depend on every single day, draw down the rhetoric. And I don't care if it's on the right side, the left side, or in the purple. They have to draw it down, and we have to come together as a country, because no matter what color you are, what religion you are, or where you came from. We're all Americans, and we have to protect each other. That's what law enforcement people do every day. It didn't matter to me if I was responding to a robbery in progress, who was being robbed or who the robber was. I responded with the same eyes of looking for the guy who was committing the crime and protecting the person who was in danger. It didn't matter, and that's what cops do every single day, risking their lives around this country and in Chicago themselves.
He is Thomas Ruskin, New York City police detective, now president of the CMP Protective and Investigative Group. Thomas Ruskin, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your insights.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I had cancer. I have fibromyalgia. I have nerve damage and fatigue. I have thalassemia. I'm hypoglycemic. So my life since cancer, I've had to learn how to live with it. But starting Balance of Nature, I felt that the first month I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
And coming up next, it's a segment you're not going to want to miss. Why Dan Proft is hot, and I'm done. Oh, ew, don't, ew.
I'm even grossed out by that.
Well, the ladies like you, and it's getting tiresome, but we'll talk about it. Hey, I love my pillow and how it's changed the way I sleep. So when I hear the new pillow mattress topper came out, I couldn't wait to try it. When I heard, the new My Pillow mattress topper came out, I couldn't wait to try it. Now, I don't know if I love my pillow or the My Pillow mattress topper more. It's that good. Now you can get a great deal on a My Pillow mattress topper and start getting the best sleep of your life. The exclusive 3-layer design includes My Pillow foam for support, traditional foam to help relieve pressure points, and an ultra-soft patented temperature-regulating cover that you can throw on the washer and dryer. It has a 10-year warranty, made in the USA, and has Mike Lindell's 60-day money-back guarantee. You'll get the total body support you need and sleep much better. Right now, you'll save 30% when you use promo code Amy. Plus, you'll receive 2 standard My Pillows absolutely free, or you can still receive the buy one, get one free offer if you just want the My Pillows. So visit mypillow.com, and when you check out, type Amy, A-M-Y, in that promo code, and you will get 30% off your entire order. Or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201, and tell them that Amy sent you.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of your #1 home mortgage company, Townstone Financial. I have a friend who works at a large bank who said, Barry, did you know most people call their local banks for home mortgages and never shop for closing costs or interest rates because they trust the banks? Please do yourself a favor. If you think the big banks or the Rocket Company are giving you the lowest rates and closing costs, then do this. Get a quote from them and then dial 312-896-2110 or go to townstone.com. Since 2002, nobody beats Townstone on interest rates and closing costs. So give us a chance to prove our point and compare Townstone to any of the banks before signing on the dotted line. It doesn't matter if you're searching for a jumbo mortgage, FHA, VA, or even a reverse mortgage. I guarantee nobody is going to beat Townstone's interest rates and low closing costs, and I own the company. So give us a call now at 312-896-2110. Nobody values your home purchase and refinance business more than Townstone. That's 312-896-2110 or go to townstone.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
Here's another Turnkey IT happy client.
Hi, this is Joe from Packaging Personified. We're a manufacturer of flexible packaging located in Carroll Stream, Illinois, and also just north of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Packaging Personified manufactures flexible packaging for the food industry and multiple other industries. We happen to be a 24-hour operation running 7 days a week, so we rely on our IT to be 100% solid. We were having a challenging time trying to get our infrastructure to be reliable. This is a problem we've had for some time, and we had gone to other providers and did not have the success we were hoping for. And that's when we found Turnkey IT. We're still in the process of expanding our network to support additional changes that we're making as we grow the business. And with Turnkey IT on our side, we can focus on our business, which is making packaging.
Your business can have great success too, with a full-time IT staff starting at $7.95 a month from Turnkey IT.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
Chicago homeowners, there's never been a better time to permanently fix your low water pressure, rusty water, and pipe leaks by repiping your home today. Repipe Specialist has been serving Chicago for many years, collectively repiping over 35,000 homes in their 25 years in business. They've built a reputation on offering the most efficient repipe process for seamless installation and customer convenience, repiping an entire home in just 1 to 2 days, patching your walls, and providing a lifetime guarantee. Repipe Specialist only uses the best repiping materials with USA Grade L copper or high-quality PEX pipes. For a limited time, take advantage of their most affordable offer. Right now, on approved credit, prices start as low as $99 per month. That's right, a quality home repipe, wall patching, a lifetime guarantee, and prices starting at just $99 per month. They'll provide a free in-home estimate explaining their process tailored for your home. So, call Repipe Specialist today for your free in-home estimate at 800-216-0130. That's 800-216-0130. 800-216-0130.
This is Michael Medved. I'm here with Mike Stahl from Health Markets, helping folks find the right Medicare coverage. The news reports say that the rates might be going down.
The government projects the cost of Medicare plans will decrease this year. So you have to ask yourself, are you getting the best rate? Health Markets offers a free service with access to thousands of Medicare plans nationwide to help folks maximize their benefits and save money.
What is it people need to keep in mind?
Enrollment in the right plan is not automatic. With so many Medicare options, it can be confusing. My advice, don't go it alone. Get unbiased help to find a plan that may cost less and cover more with lower co-payments, more choices like dental and vision, and the freedom to choose your doctors. With the enrollment deadline only weeks away, it's important to act now. Our Health Markets Medicare assistance is free.
Thanks, Mike. This is Michael Medved for Health Markets.
For your free Medicare assistance, call 800-741-5592. That's 800-741-5592. 800-741-5592.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, let's get over this lame segment idea you have.
Okay, well, it's not lame because it's very hard for me to hang out with you. And I know the show is called Dan and Amy, but ladies, I want to tell you something. So if any ladies that are interested in Dan are out there, which there appears to be a lot more than I thought.
And their median age is 77. And not that 77-year-olds aren't lovely, but... Yeah,
This is a story of what it's like to be friends with Dan
Right,
Fouts,
yeah, right.
who's hot. So, yeah, I had a number of ladies come up to me at the event. Oh my gosh, he's so hot. He's really beautiful. He's so handsome. He's so tall. I had no idea.
Those weren't ladies.
So I came up with a little ditty. Because Justin Kosick, our technical producer, he's talented, but I think...
And he went to an Elton John concert recently, too, so I can only imagine the flair he's bringing to his latest project.
This is we worked together on this one. You ready? Oh, my gosh. This is embarrassing.
Careless Whispers. Oh, my gosh. Gross.
Dan Proft's a conservative. He doesn't like the alternative. Proft is hot, hot, hot.
Oh, my gosh.
When we're at functions, ladies flock to his junction. Proft is hot, hot, hot.
So terrible.
He's a tall guy on a mission to lower Illinois property taxes and change our condition. He opines about microeconomics. It just turned the ladies on. Proft is hot, 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 hot. Wow.
Ooh, nice
He
car
is
roll.
hot, 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 hot. Oh, yeah. Call me, Dan. Ole, ole.
So tomorrow, Justin, schedule me for some studio time for Amy Jacobson. Tone deaf, tone deaf, tone deaf. And my response, holy cow. What in God's name was that? I don't even know where to go with that. Thank you so much for that treatment.
We wrote the Caravan song. I thought That was, But honestly, I've never been so bothered by ladies coming up to me. I'm trying to have a conversation with them, and they don't want to talk to me. They don't care about me. They care about
Yeah, there
you.
it is. Yeah, this was, thank God George Michael isn't alive to hear the application of his song to this.
No, they care about you. They didn't ask me any questions.
Uh-huh.
Where's Dan?
Yeah.
And my standard line, he's in the bathroom. But then you never came out of the bathroom because they waited for you outside the men's washroom. But I do want to thank everyone for attending Freedom Summit. It was a great success, and thanks to our sales staff. And they put everything together, the pamphlets, the tables, the seating arrangements, the lighting. They did it all. And Jeff Reisman, our general manager, Debbie.
And we've gotten a lot of compliments, a
Littman,
lot of emails and texts about how much people enjoyed it. So that was to the credit of the staff who put everything together. We just, go up there and bloviate.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. And thanks so much for making us part of your morning every day. We're back here at 5 a.m. tomorrow. Now here is Mike Scott.
One wounded in a shooting on the Dan Ryan Expressway this morning. WIND, Chicago News Time, 9.
They won't be beaten down. I'm Dave Anderson.